knows, maybe a little over-anxious, playing here in his hometown, goes down on strikes. So 1 up, 1 down, and it'll bring up the number 2 hitter as Dribble Cabrera. The Mariners defensively have Valencia at first, Cano at second, Segura at short, and Seager at third, with Gamble, Dyson, and Haniger left to right in the outfield. And doing the catching tonight is Mike Zunino, with Ariel Miranda on the mound. A 28-year-old came over from the Baltimore Orioles last year for Wade Miley. Here's Cabrera, hits a fastball on the ground wide of short and past the diving Segura. Base hit going into left field. So Cabrera continues to mash from the right side. He came into this game batting .342 against left-handed pitching, and that is the 9th best average of anybody in the National League against lefties. So Conforto, after striking out, yields to Cabrera. He singles to left, and now it's Cespedes. And Cespedes has seen plenty of the Mariners over the course of his career, certainly going back to his early Major League days with Oakland, playing in the same division. And that's a pretty good reason why he has more homers and RBIs against the Mariners than against any other team. First pitch, fastball taken for a called strike. And the count 0-1. Cespedes batting .282 with 10 homers, 27 runs batted in. In his career, he's homered 18 times and driven in 39 runs against Seattle. Outfield is deep and straight away, and there are a lot of Met fans here in Seattle for this series. The 0-1 on the way. Swing and a miss at a fastball down and away. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. A 93-mile-an-hour fastball there from Ariel Miranda, who is 7-4. He has one complete game, a 4.30 earned run average. Earlier in the year, he had been giving the Mariners a lot of length, but over his last 3 starts, in each one he has failed to get out of the 6th inning. 0-2 the count. Cabrera short lead at first. The pitch, Cespedes pops it foul, straight back out of play. The umpires lineup presented by our friends at Lincoln Tech, always offering you the best lineup of career training choices. Get started today at lincolntech.edu. Chris Conroy has the plate. Shane Livensbarger is at first. Crew chief Jerry Meals at second. Ron Culpa, the umpire, at third. Just getting started. Cabrera at first with 1 out. 0-2 to Cespedes. Miranda deals, and a breaking ball popped up foul coming back this way, just below us. This ballpark, which opened mid-season in 1999, has 4 levels to it. One a very thin, sweet level, which is second from the top. It is 401 to straightaway center here. 331 down the line and left. 326 to the foul pole down the line and right. 376 in the power alley to left. 380 to right center. The 0-2 fastball, a breaking ball, swung out and missed strike 3. Pitch in the dirt. And Cespedes swinging over the slider is down on strike. So 2 strikeouts for Miranda. Cabrera still at first. 2 men away, and Jay Bruce coming up. Well, Bruce had a home run last night against the lefty Jose Torres. Bruce now with 26 homers on the year, tied for 4th in the league. He has hit 6 homers in his last 17 games. And still very curious to know if he's going to be a Met in a few days, with a deadline coming up Monday. First pitch on the way. Fastball on the inside corner for a called strike. And the count 0-1 to Jay Bruce. 262 average on the year for Jay. Mariners managed by Scott Service overshift the infield against Bruce. Robbie Cano, the second baseman, out in short right field. Segura, the shortstop, to the right of second. He's on the outfield grass. The 0-1 swung out and missed. A sinker, and he's got a pretty good sinker. And the count now, 1 ball and 2, no balls and 2 strikes on Bruce. They say that Miranda actually throws a split and a changeup, which is a little unusual these days. Most pitchers favor one or the other, and it's really a hybrid for many of them. Here's the 0-2. Fastball driven high in the air to right center field, pretty deep. Haniger going back at the track near the wall. He jumps. It's gone. A home run. Jay Bruce for the 2nd straight night. Homers off a left-handed pitcher. For Bruce, his 27th home run of the year. You can hear the Mets fans brewing in the background. Bruce drives in Cabrera ahead of him, and here in the 1st inning, the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
Plus, the man is smiling like he doesn't want to leave these guys. Jay Bruce circles the bases, great big smile on his face, and that's the second straight first inning, Howie. We've seen an 0-2 pitch wallop for a home run. Yesterday it was Manny Margot of San Diego that did it.
So now here's Wilmer Flores batting at .283, right-hand hitter. Miranda's first pitch, a fastball popped up foul, going back this way and out of play, and the count 0-1. So Jay Bruce continues to make a case, which really flies in the face of what we're hearing from around baseball, that there's not that much interest. The 0-1 on the way, breaking ball swung on and fouled off, and actually the ball ended up in the glove of the catcher Zunino, and Flores lost the bat. It wound up flowing or flying behind him right onto the big Seattle Mariner logo planted on the grass behind home plate. And another 0-2 count now. Well, it's just hard to believe, and I know home runs are, not the relative rarity that they used to be. Here's the 0-2 to Flores. Breaking ball swung on and missed strike three, side retired. You got to think there's some interest in Jay Bruce. After all, he now has 27 homers, 72 RBIs. After his two-run homer, one of two hits, nobody left. Middle of the first inning, it's the Mets 2 and the Mariners coming up on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Guts, Glory, Ram, and Trust Title, where legal experts and underwriting pros led by industry veteran Steve Napolitano ensure that your commercial real estate...
Just Drive. Find out more at justdrive.com.
We go to the last of the second inning here in Seattle, with the Mets leading the Mariners 2-0. The home half of the second inning is sponsored by the Sloman Shield. Don't become another victim. Protect your home and family with a Sloman Shield. To schedule your free in-home consultation, dial pound 250 from your cell. Keyword Slomans. Dial pound 250. Keyword Slomans. Nelson Cruz leads off for the Mariners against Rafael Montero. First pitch to the right-hand hitter, right down the middle of fastball, 0-1. Cruz 0 for his last 13, batting .275. He has 20 homers, but he leads the American League in RBIs with 75. The 0-1 on the way, inside 1-1. And I know most Mets fans have no recollection of this, but Nelson Cruz actually was Mets property. They ended up dealing him to the Oakland A's for infielder Jorge Velandia. 1-1 pitch taken on the outside corner. Good spot for that fastball. Outside black at the knees. And it's 1-2. Cruz doesn't think so. And Nelson does not appear to be in the mood to take Chris Conroy's picture right now. He's the guy who famously asked Joe West for the selfie in the All-Star game. 1-2. Montero deals. Breaking ball low outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, you got a couple of guys in the American League who have hit for a lot of power for a long time. Cruz being one of them. And Joey Bats, Jose Bautista, another who at one time was Met property. There are a few other teams who moved him along the way, too. 2-2 to Cruz. Breaking ball low outside in the full count. Cruz also been with Milwaukee and Texas and briefly the Baltimore Orioles. And he's a guy who, was suspended for PED use, 50 games a few years ago. So you do have to take that into consideration, but he's put up big numbers. Payoff pitch. Low outside, ball 4. So Montero, whose control has certainly been better lately. In fact, in each of his last 3 starts, or 3 appearances anyway, he's only walked 1 the last 2 starts. But in his couple of starts before that, he had only walked 2. And that had been an issue with him for pretty much the entirety of his brief major league career until recently. So, Cruz is aboard, leading off the home second. And Kyle Seager will be the batter. Seager's a good ball player. He's won a Gold Glove. Corey Seager's brother is how he's more commonly known now. Well, this is one of those guys who takes forever in the batter's box during each at-bat. Montero comes set, left-hand hitter up close to the plate. And the first pitch, fastball outside, ball 1. Seager batting .255 with 14 homers and 53 runs batted in. He's got another brother who's been in the Mariners organization named Justin. Family is from North Carolina. The 1-0 on the way, taken outside, a fastball. It's 2-0. Seager went to school at the University of North Carolina with Mr. Matt Harvey. And the hope is that Harvey's going to be back at some point later this year. Same for Noah Syndergaard. 2-0 the count to Seager. Outfield straightaway. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Looked like a changeup there from Montero. He's been throwing 95. That pitch, well, they clock it at 90. And based on Seager's swing, a lot of times the hitter will tell you if that pitch was a changeup. And the way he was out in front, it made it look to me like he was sitting on something a lot harder than what he got. So the count 2-1. Cruz a very short lead at first. The pitch, swing and a liner over second coming on Conforto. It hangs up for him. And he makes the catch knee high, fires into second, and back to first base goes Cruz. So one away. Danny Valencia coming up. Mets will be back home a week from tonight, August 4th, and it'll be a free shirt Friday at Citi Field as the Mets face the Los Angeles Dodgers at 7:10. All fans in attendance will receive a Jacob deGrom replica jersey courtesy of Geico. For tickets, visit Mets.com/free shirt Fridays. 2-0 Mets. Cruz at first with one out here in the last of the second. Danny Valencia batting .265, 11 homers, 50 runs batted in. Right-hand batter, first pitch, breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1. Valencia, to be kind, is what you might refer to as an acquired taste. He has hardly ever been the most popular guy in his own clubhouse. And because of that, he has really bounced around. The 0-1, a fastball reached for and popped up near first base. Fair territory near the line for Flores. And on the grass, Wilmer makes the catch. 2 men away. Valencia is playing with his 7th team in 8 seasons in the big leagues. But he has popped out to first. So after the leadoff walk to Cruz, Seager flies out. Valencia pops up. And now Mitch Haniger, another guy who the Mets staked claim to quite a few years ago. He was drafted out of high school by the Mets and did not sign. And Haniger batting .254 on the year, coming over from the Arizona Diamondbacks along with Gene Segura. 7 homers, 24 RBIs, but slumping lately. 0 for his last 18. Right-hand batter, and the first pitch taken for a called strike, a fastball, 0-1. And I would think the Mets really have to like how aggressive Rafael Montero has been, not only tonight, but over his last few starts. He's a long ways away from being a polished major league pitcher, to be sure. But now he's starting to show some of the stuff that made him such a good prospect. The 0-1, breaking ball in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. And with that, of course, comes confidence. And so when you combine that with the attitude that's made Montero more aggressive, now he's starting to look like a big league pitcher.
Certainly trusting that changeup much more than he ever has at the big league level before. It's been a difference-making pitch.
Gerard Dyson waiting on deck. The 1-1, swing and a miss at a fastball at 94. That had good sink on it too. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Haniger. He got off to a great start this year. He actually was on base in the first 25 games that he played. 2 out. Cruz being held on at first by Flores. 2-0 New York. We're in the last of the second. Montero sets at the shoulder. The 1-2. Fastball somewhere. Ball 2. Evidently just a bit outside. And not by much. Rivera kind of framed it, held it, but Chris Conroy didn't buy it. So 2-2 the count now to Mitch Haniger.
That was simply a miss by Conroy. And Montero just a hint of a smile on his face like, all right, I know I got him. Now I'll have to do it again.
Time called at home plate.
That's actually a solid reaction from Montero. Didn't get all huffy about it. Doesn't look completely out of sorts. Just a mild inconvenience.
2-2 the count. Montero sets. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball rolled to short. Waiting on it. Reyes. He's got it. Underhands to second for the force play. Side retired. So good job by Montero. Works around the leadoff walk by Cruz. No hits, 1 left. And at the end of 2, the Mets 2, the Mariners nothing on the WOR Mets Radio Network driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Stories on their side.
Weekdays, 6 till 10 on 710 WOR.
Summer adventures on
For an ice cream treat you eat like pizza. Available in-store or online at BaskinRobbins.com.
The WOR Sports Zone with Pete McCarthy. 6 till 9 weeknights and after the Mets on 710 WOR.
Mets 2, Mariners nothing as we go to the third. Michael Conforto will lead off for New York. He's going to have a big family dinner after the day game tomorrow. Big family dinner tomorrow night, but business to attend to tonight first, Josh.
Yep, feast later and a hit now. If he can, the pitch to him is high 1-0 from Angel Miranda. Ariel Miranda, excuse me. Michael Conforto, who after 20 miles in for a strike into the hands, 1-1. Redmond is Washington, the name of the seventh. 1-0 pitch. In for a strike under the hands, 1-1. Michael was an honor roll student at Redmond High. Shortstop on the baseball team. He was a star quarterback and safety on the football team for the Redmond Mustangs. 1-1 is cranked in the air. Deep right field. Track, wall, gone! Welcome home, Michael Conforto. A line shot home run to right field. And now all of his fans and all of his family can look up and say, you know what? We know that guy's got 20 home runs as a big leaguer this year. Sleepless in Seattle? I think not. Just a powder keg of a home run shot. Probably took about 3 seconds to get out of here. It is 3-0 New York.
He's looking into the Mets dugout. Some of his teammates look about as happy for him as he is for himself, knowing how much hitting a home run in his hometown must mean to him.
Especially Howie, after in that first inning, he saw only 3 pitches and he struck out. That was better. And here is Asdrubal Cabrera with the Mets now ahead by 3. Cabrera taking off speed on the outside, 0-1. Now the pitch was kind of middle in on Conforto. And over of all things, a sign advertising Boeing aircrafts. He sent it out. The 0-1 pitch is up and outside, 1-1. This is Boeing headquarters, of course. That one leaving some contrails behind it on its way out. Second Met home run of the night. Pitch on the way. Cabrera taking on the outside edge. The home run ball has been the undoing for Miranda this year. He has now allowed 24 of them in 117 innings of work. And the big 2-0 for Michael Conforto. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside, almost hit him. 2-2. Mariners with the nautically themed bluish-green jerseys tonight. Bluish-green glove for Miranda. Bluish-green shoes for Miranda. 2-2 is poked towards the hole left side under the glove of a lunging Segura. Base hit for Cabrera again. Second time he snuck one just past the outstretched reach of Segura tonight.
You know, one thing about Asdrubal Cabrera that should not be overlooked. Yeah, of course, the Mets are looking to see if they can get a good deal for him. But if they can't get a deal to their liking, it's not inconceivable that as he has shown that he can play multiple positions, they might pick up that $8.5 million option next year and keep him around as a valuable utility man as long as his head is into that role.
It's so funny because the biggest way that he can get paid is to be basically a Ben Zobrist type, a guy that can be a chess piece that's moved all over the board. Here's Cespedes, and he takes inside. These guys know each other from back in Cuba a little bit. Cabrera now, since the All-Star break, is hitting .318. Playing some third, some short, some second. And yeah, if he can get his mind around that, if that's the new world order for him, welcome aboard. 1-0 pitch, dipping low, it's 2-0. Remember, Cabrera, by the way, originally was a Seattle Mariners prospect. Spent the first 4 years of his career with the Mariners and made it as far as AAA for them, meaning he played just 30 miles away from here down in Tacoma and was flipped to the Indians back in 2006. 2-0 from Miranda coming. Big swing and a miss from Cespedes at the fastball, 2-1. Cespedes, the strikeout victim in the first inning. Miranda doesn't have quite the following among the Seattle fans and some of their, or as some of their other pitchers do. But he's been their most consistent starter this year. 7-4 record, ERA in the low 4s. 2-1 delivery taken on the outside corner, 2-2. Felix Hernandez not pitching while we're here, of course. So that means the King's Court will be muted. We won't hear that cheering section. But Sunday, we'll be able to get into it a little bit for the Canadian James Paxton.
Hey?
That's what they start to chant with 2 strikes.
That's great.
Isn't that awesome?
He has an A corner.
The 2-2 coming from Miranda. Skipping to the plate, it's 3-2. They call Paxton the Big Maple, as in maple leaf. Got a gigantic maple leaf tattoo on his forearm, his non-pitching arm. When the Blue Jays were in here to troll the Toronto fans, because, we're very near the border of British Columbia, so there's a lot of BC fans who are Toronto fans. Tossed to first, and easily back in is Cabrera. That's apparently a big thing here when it's Blue Jays against the Mariners. It's a very divided house. By the way, we're getting some breaking trade news. It's potential trade news, nothing confirmed yet, but we'll pass along in a moment. 3-2 delivery taken on the inside corner, strike 3 call. Now, Cespedes had a look like he didn't quite believe it. And as Jay Bruce comes up, again, we put it in the file of this is what we're hearing. Ken Rosenthal reporting, and thanks to Wayne Randazzo for pointing this out to us. A.J. Ramos could be on the move to the New York Mets. And that is all that is out there right now, but Ken's such a credible source. Here's the pitch on the way to Bruce, is already a homer, takes inside 1-0. So you start to get those wheels turning in your head on what's going to be a very busy next couple of days. All right, what are the Mets also preparing to do? What else is involved? Who's going the other way? And what does it portend, if indeed that's something that's happening? Not confirmed yet at all. 1-0 pitch, a changeup. It's 1-1 with a swing and a miss.
We know one thing. The Mets desperately need more depth in their bullpen. Ramos has been closing for the Miami Marlins. And, you just consider Neil Ramirez DFA'd 3 times this year, including by the Mets. Would you believe the Washington Nationals signed Ramirez today to a minor league contract? And they also picked up Howie Kendrick from Philadelphia.
Things are starting to happen. 1-1, another change, another swing and a miss, 1-2.
A.J. Ramos, that'd be interesting.
Right? And if Jeurys Familia indeed is close to coming back as well, now you start to understand if the Mets are close to making a deal to move Addison Reed, all right, you're actually getting a little deeper and better in your bullpen within the next week or two. If Ramos is coming. 1-2 pitches low, blocked by Zunino, 2-2. And again, honestly, Howie, if this was anybody nationally other than Ken Rosenthal, I'd wait and not even throw it out there. But Ken's not wrong on stuff usually. So if he says it's in the mix, got to at least say that it sounds right, that it could be a potential deal. But we haven't heard who's going the other way or what else might be involved there. But grist for the rumor mill for sure. Mets ahead 3-0 in the third. Tossed at first by Miranda, and going back without a problem, Cabrera. Coming to you live on the late side of here from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth. Bigelow Tea encouraging you to grab a mug and tea proudly. Everybody wondering who's staying and who's going. What's the plan here? 2-2 on the way. Check swing low. Runner breaking. Cabrera on his way. Late. Ball kicked away. Nobody's covering third. Yes. Cabrera heading to third base safely now. Zunino realizes nobody's covering home, and he sneaks back. Tell you what, if Cabrera or the third base coach Glenn Sherlock had noticed that last component a second earlier, Cabrera would have gone from second to third to home on a wild pitch, because no one was covering third after the ball got away at second base. That's why Cabrera got up and kind of Daniel Murphy'd his way from second to third. Zunino was the guy who had pegged his way towards the bag at third, helping out, but nobody rotated around to cover home plate. And then everybody at the same time kind of realized that, and Cabrera just stayed where he was at third. That should be a wild pitch and an error. Why Cabrera's at third now with just one out, and the infield coming in. 3-2 delivery coming. Check swing outside, ball 4. Only one out, and runners at the corners, a run already in.
Well, pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr. is on his way to the mound for the Mariners. Of course, the son of former outstanding Yankee pitcher and Mets pitching coach, who was there for the '86 World Championship, Mel Stottlemyre, who has been fighting some kind of battle for a long time with multiple myeloma. And we understand that Mel Sr. has been fairly stable after a real scare about a year ago. And he is, meaning Mel Sr., as strong, as decent, and as nice a human being as there is. And to see him hanging on the way he has for a long time is really kind of heartwarming, Josh.
I would absolutely agree. And I don't know the Stottlemyres or really any of the family all that well, but that's exactly what you hear from everybody that's had contact with any member of that family. Wilmer Flores, the batter. And the Mets already ahead 3-0, have runners at the corners. Flores certainly a home run candidate. 4 homers in his last 8 games coming in. Takes the fastball outside 1-0.
One quick note, Josh, about A.J. Ramos.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets would still have him under their control for next year. He would be arbitration eligible, but after this year, he'll have just a little more than 5 years service time. So not eligible for free agency, and if the Mets do get him, they'll have him for at least another year.
1-0 to Flores is popped up foul out of play, first base side. Ramos this year a 3.6 ERA. He's got 47 strikeouts and 40 innings of work. And if he has Travis d'Arnaud for a battery mate, that would be, well, interesting just for a moment at least. That's the guy that broke the hand of Travis d'Arnaud with an errant pitch not too long ago. And again, nothing done that we know of, just a report that something's close. 1-1 chipped in the air. Right field could be deep enough to get Cabrera in. Hannigan back. Lines it up, makes a catch. Here comes Cabrera down the line. He'll score as it's cut off in the infield. Bruce stays at first, and the Mets lead is up to 4-0 here in Seattle. Well, nicely done by Flores, getting it up in the air, getting RBI number 31. And now Neil Walker to the plate. Of course, he's been traded in his past, but that was in the offseason. And there's really not a lot of talk right now about a Neil Walker deal anywhere. But that's the one thing that Terry Collins keeps getting asked, I think, Howie, is, do you get a sense with all the names that we keep hearing over and over that there might be a surprise name that pokes onto the radar? Pitch to Walker, a strike on the inside corner. And obviously that's really a Sandy Alderson thing, not a Terry Collins thing. But, you hear some rumblings about Curtis Granderson all of a sudden, just rumors. Rene Rivera, we talked about that the Cubs had interest. 0-1 pitch, dots the inside corner. It's 0-2.
The guy that Neil Walker was traded for, Jonathan Neese, is back home now. He's not pitching for anyone.
Well, it's quite a fall from grace for John Neese. Opening day starter one time. 0-2, wave and a miss. Down goes Neil Walker. And the inning will come to a close. However, Michael Conforto, the highlight of the inning, back home in Seattle, a home run to right. Mets added a run after that. They're ahead 4-0 middle of the third on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Here comes the pitch. Foul ball.
For all your home improvement needs.
Drive. You can lease the 2017 Discovery Sport HSE for $399 a month for 39 months, $39.99 down plus taxes and fees due at $474. Or visit LandRover.com. Land Rover.
Mets baseball brought to you by RE/MAX. RE/MAX agents are trained to help you find the perfect fit wherever you go, wherever you're heading, locally or globally. Go to RE/MAX.com, find an agent for all the things that move you. Each office independently owned and operated. Speedy center fielder Jared Dyson leads it off against Rafael Montero in the bottom of the third. He'll take a strike on the outside corner. Mets 4, Mariners 0. Dyson, who's missed the last few games with a hyperextended toe. He was back out there tonight. The 0-1 pitch at the knees for a strike, 0-2. I don't mean to giggle at another man's misfortune. It's just not an injury you hear of that often. The hyperextended toe. 0-2 pitch, hit high, hit well, right field. Backing is Bruce. goes to the track looking for the wall. Right before the wall, he makes the catch. Dyson, known more for his speed, not power, almost takes it out. But Jay Bruce catches up to it, 1 down. Mike Zunino will come up now. Power threat from the bottom of the order. Just a .226 hitter, which is actually 30 points higher than his career average. 15 homers, though, 42 runs batted in. Selective hitter, natural leader, and until this year, just a total bust. One-time number 3 pick in the nation. Just finally getting it together here in his 5th year with the Mariners. A swing and a miss here, 0-1. Zunino of Italian descent. Team Italy this past WBC. Well, that kind of leads us back to the trade we were just discussing. Pitches outside 1-1. Being reported that Gavin Cecchini has been pulled out of the lineup in Vegas tonight. So you start putting 2 and 2 together, and that doesn't always add up to the correct number when you do that. But from what we're hearing is the 1-1 pitch comes into Zunino, and it's low 2-1. Mets getting ready to trade for A.J. Ramos, closer of the Miami Marlins. Now, Cecchini could be an attractive piece, a one-time number 1 pick. Maybe he's among what's going to Miami. 2-1, a wave and a miss by Zunino, 2-2. And, you know, that's what we're left with here, especially how, again, this internet age, Twitter age, I mean, info is immediate and not always accurate, so you're always mindful of that. But, you know, there's a lot of credible sources out there now saying A.J. Ramos is going to be a Met. 2-2 to Zunino is cracked in the air, deep left field. This ball's got a shot to go. It will. It's a home run. Mike Zunino, we mentioned not your garden variety, number 9 a hitter. 16 home runs for him now. That's 4-1.
That was a line drive home run right over the 376 mark in left center field. And so Montero gave up 3 solo homers in his last start. Gives up a solo home run here to Zunino. And it's 4-1 New York.
Looked like a fastball. It just got over that 376 marker out there in left center. Now Segura top of the order, taking down an in 1-0. Yeah, the last 4 runs now allowed by Montero, the solo shots. 2 off of fastballs and 2 on hanging sliders, if memory serves. 1-0 slider is belted foul back to the net, 1-1. Our partners at First Data, enhancing the way small business operates. Their Clover solutions allow you to manage your entire business, from payments to managing employees and more. Learn more at clover.com. 1-1 from Montero, taken by Segura for a strike on the inside, 1-2. Just a 4 for 31 homestand for Segura, batting right-handed. Montero, good tempo, brings a 1-2 in on the hands and fouled up near third. That's the Mets dugout on third base side. Well, the report we're getting now, and again, none of this official yet, but a couple sources have it as Merendy Gonzalez and Ricardo Cespedes as minor leaguers heading to Miami, with A.J. Ramos coming to the Mets. 1-2. Swing and a miss, and down goes Segura. Second time Montero has ate him up tonight.
Maybe I could just see the headline tomorrow. Mets trade Cespedes.
I was just thinking the same thing. Easy, big fella. It's a different Cespedes.
That's got Puma written all over.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
He doesn't write the headlines, but that'll be his lead.
Well, Ricardo Cespedes, for what it's worth, the Bronx-born outfielder, only 20 years old, was at Kingsport all of last year, rookie ball. Ben Gamble, the batter, hairy left-hander, taking low. It's 1-0. And, you know, there has been talk, if you haven't heard the name of Merendy Gonzalez, that's a guy who is starting to get a little bit of buzz going. Next pitch is fouled up the third base line, right off the end of the bat. And the count 1-1. Merendy Gonzalez, a native Dominican who's 20, I guess he's 21. He'll turn 22 this fall. Those are the names being mentioned right now. No press release yet. 1-1 fastball down and in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now, just to remind you, A.J. Ramos, 40-save season. Not a lot of guys have that on their resume. He walks some guys sometimes, gives up some long fly balls. 2-1, a chopper past the mound. Walker in at second base. A bobble, but he recovers, throws to first in time. And Montero is off the mound without number 3. Probably good timing that we've got our Newsday Insider segment coming up. We'll get all the latest with our good buddy Mark Carrig. That's coming up. But right now we can tell you at the end of 3 in Seattle. Mets 4, Mariners 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
This month's flavor of the month at Baskin-Robbins is Mom's Making Cookies. Buy 2 or more scoops of your favorite flavor and get a fresh baked waffle.
On 710 WOR.
4-1 Mets as we go to the 4th. Let's pause for station ID, WOR Mets Radio Network.
WOR and WAXQ HD2, New York.
I'm James Flippin. Police on Long Island distancing themselves from something President Trump said during his visit. That story postgame.
Curtis Granderson leads it off, and the first pitch to him was, well, very tight. Inside, he had to swivel away 1-0. Mets have bashed home runs tonight to lead 4-1. Montero looking for his second win of the year. Granderson looking at a strike on the outside edge, 1-1. Mark Carrig looking for the stairs to the broadcast location here, has found them. We are up one level higher than the print media here in Seattle. 1-1 pitch. That's a strike 1 and 2. And now Mark Carrig has ascended said staircase. He'll fill us in momentarily on the trade rumors that are buzzing right now. 1-2 delivery coming. Granderson fouls it straight back. Newsday, the official news and sports content partner of Mets Radio. What do you know, Mark Carrig?
A.J. Ramos is a New York Met.
Is it done?
Yeah, just source confirms like some of the other reports we've seen so far. So, Sandy Alderson with a curveball tonight.
Miranda with a curveball, and Granderson fouls it back into the crowd. One-handed by a Met fan in an orange T-shirt, proudly wearing the logo and high-fiving everybody. It's still 1 and 2. So with A.J. Ramos apparently on the way, a bunch of questions that kind of spike out of that for you in just a moment. First, the 1-2 delivery on the way from the left-hander. Granderson a squiver out in front of the plate. And it's Zunino capturing it, firing it to first. Granderson out. With the Mets ahead 4-1 in the 4th inning. So does that mean Addison Reed is about to be swept out somewhere else?
Well, Addison Reed was going to be traded regardless. I think this move for A.J. Ramos is for next year. The difference between the two is that Ramos has team control next season. Addison Reed does not. So the Mets are basically have been saying that they want to retool quickly and be contenders in 2018. This is a move that helps them get there.
Reyes, the batter, taking it high 1-0, one-time teammate of Ramos in Miami.
Kind of a double whammy, too, by the way. We talk about trading Reed. If you get Ramos off the market, that's one less option for teams looking for relief help.
Boy, you know what? That's a great point. 1-0 pitch is outside 2-0. I've been fascinated with how this relief pitcher market has been going. And, for example, we were just in San Diego, the Padres, who a couple years ago sat on their hands until their hands got numb. They did nothing after a lot of talk. 2-0 is punched into the air, shallow right field. Long run in for Haniger. And the first baseman instead backs up and drops it. It's in foul ground. But Danny Valencia, for some reason, took control out there. Failed to hang on to it, and it's a new life for Reyes. That's got to be an error. And anyway, just to your point, Brad Hand, for example, still hasn't been moved. And if the Padres are thinking, there's a lot of teams out there, at least 2 or 3, well, yeah, you're right. The market is now kind of double shifted here.
Yeah, now, I mean, that said, too, regardless of whether the Mets had made this move today or not, I think there was still a lot of confidence that they would get a pretty solid return for Reed. Talked to someone from another team today, said the asking price is still pretty high.
2-1, another pop-up, pretty much the same place. Here comes Hannigan, the right fielder in a foul ground with Valencia. He dropped it again! That's 0 for 2. Back-to-back plays, Valencia muffs them both.
Well, in fairness to Valencia on the first one, and it still would turn out to be his culpability, but he pulled up. He never touched that first one because he basically went alligator arms expecting Haniger to make the play, if not Cano. But this one was Valencia's all the way, and he dropped it.
That one spun around his glove like a basketball shot would lip around on the hoop and just fell right out. 2-2 is high, 3-2.
Now, there's one error that's gone up on the board. We haven't heard if there are two. I don't know that there's such a thing as double jeopardy, but either one of them or both could have been charged as errors. The second a little tougher. They say no error on the second, so just on the first.
3-2 delivery, swing, and a fly ball to left field this time. And the fans, I guess, appreciate the direction. Ben Gamble makes the catch. Out number 2 in the inning. Up comes Rene Rivera. 4-1 Mets our score. Jay Bruce, any word on him being moved?
No. I mean, Jay Bruce has gotten virtually zero market.
Why?
Right now. I'll tell you why. There's a couple of things. Demand, number one. There's lack thereof for corner outfielders. Number two, he's still fighting the concept that he's not very fast and he's very unathletic. And I think teams have held that as a black mark against him.
Swing and a miss by Rivera. All right, let me play devil's advocate, and it's really easy to do it. 27 homers, 71 runs batted in.
And a nice running catch tonight.
Right.
Hey, you guys know how baseball works, right? Labels don't go away quickly here. And, actually, if you look at Bruce's work defensively this year, it's been pretty good. You mentioned the play he made tonight. A couple of assists in recent weeks. Covered the ground.
0-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Is it possible that what hurts him, Mark, is that the one time he did get traded to a contender, the Mets, he didn't do that well?
No, I don't think that's what this is. I think what this is teams in baseball valuing guys that are more athletic, and he doesn't fit the mold for many people.
Well,
0-2 is high, 1-2.
If that's the case, is he in for a rude awakening when he gets to free agency after this year?
That's a great question. It's why, just my own personal opinion, if he were back here next year, would not be shocking in the least at this point.
I don't think it'd be a bad thing.
1-2 from Miranda. Breaking ball taken, strike 3 called, and the inning is over. A weird inning, but an informative inning because Mark Carrig was here. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
We go to the bottom of the fourth, 4-1 New York on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
And he's out. That marks our 21st out in today's game. And 21 is your lucky number at Empire City Casino. Come
Available feature based on IHS Automotive VIO registration data for all brands of GVW 1-3 pickup trucks continuously sold in the U.S. since 1988. Dodge and Ram have the highest overall percentage still on the road. Call 1-877.
Robinson Cano will lead things off for the Seattle Mariners in the bottom of the fourth. This is a very tricky part of the lineup for Rafael Montero. 3-4-5, Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Montero looking for his second win of the year. He's ahead 4-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. And the pitch on the way to Cano. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Pretty good looking slider from Montero on a really good looking night here tonight. Sunset tonight is 9:00 p.m. Pacific time. They got fireworks scheduled for after the game. Won't really be that dark at this rate when they're firing them up. Next pitch, a strike at the knees, 0-2. Montero all the way ahead with a changeup. They've got probably about 30, maybe 33,000-ish here tonight. Soft wind blowing in. The Mariner fans thinking their team, well, still with a shot here. 51-52. 0-2 pitch is outside 1-2. They have no shot in their own division. They're in second place, but they're 18 back in the loss column because Houston is a runaway. Wild card, though, yeah, you bet. They're in the mix for that. They've made a trade today, too, after making one yesterday. 1-2, a slice foul out of play, third base side. Former Marlins closers, apparently, are a hot item at Howie. Steve Cishek was a Mariner. Of course, before that was a Marlins closer. And Erasmo Ramirez of Tampa Bay coming the other way. He used to be a Mariner. Now he'll be one again. But again, A.J. Ramos, apparently, Marlins closer on his way to becoming a Met. 1-2 from Montero. Bouncing ball hard towards first. And Bruce right there at the line, or rather Flores right there at the line. Skipping over to the bag, and they'll touch up for the first out of the inning. Nelson Cruz up next. And a scoreboard update sponsored by the New York Lottery. Play cash for life and a chance to win $1,000 a day for life. Milwaukee needed a win against the Cubs badly, and they got it, 2-1. Cardinals ahead of Arizona, 1-0 in the 8th inning. Pittsburgh, a 2-0 lead over San Diego tonight. Cardinals and Pirates with wins could pull to within 3.5 games of first again in the NL Central. The most tightly bunched division of the 6. Here's Cruz. And he'll take inside from fellow Dominican Montero, 1-0. Nelson Cruz, now a 5-time All-Star, and only once has he taken a selfie during the All-Star game. That was just a couple of weeks ago. Upright stance, and he jackknifes out of the way of a fastball down and in, 2-0. Howie was talking earlier about Cruz being passed around earlier in his career, kind of hot potato style. The Rangers flat out released him at one point. 2-0 delivery. That's outside with a fastball, 3-0. Very consistent performer now, though, is Cruz. Got that uppercut swing, great rhythm and timing and leverage. Bona fide 40 home run a year guy now. 3-0 from Montero, swinging in a chopper, but foul down near third. Well, you see a guy like that take a big cut, 3-0, and you're hoping your pitcher threw it down in the zone, and that's what happened. Nelly Cruz actually played very little baseball growing up in the Dominican. He was a basketball player. 3-1. Swing and a miss. The helmet comes right off his head with that cut. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cruz's dad was a teacher for many years, went on to become a newscaster for a radio station in the family's hometown of Monte Cristi, back in the Dominican. Mets ahead 4-1. We're in the 4th inning. Now the pitch taken. Strike 3 rung up on the outside corner. And Cruz took a moment before walking away from the plate as if to let home plate umpire Mr. Conroy know, I don't think so. But there's Montero, and again, Howie, we're talking about a tough part of the order here. Scott and Cano on a bounce out. He rallies with Cruz. He was behind 3-0, then he strikes him out.
It's impossible to look at Rafael Montero now and not be encouraged by the progress that he's made over the last few, well, say month anyway, mostly as a starter.
Kyle Seager, the batter, powerful lefty, and it's taken low.
And I guess one other way to put it would be it's about time.
Yeah. Been waiting, well, just like we were talking about with Nelson Cruz. Hanging fire is what they call that in the military. The grenade that doesn't explode until a lot later than it's supposed to. 1-0 is a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. I think Montero could be hanging fire. Nelly Cruz absolutely was.
It's just coming out of his hands so easily now, so freely. You could see the different level of confidence in him.
1-1 pitch to Seager is low, 2-1. Last time the Mets saw a Seager, well, that was his brother in L.A., who had a 3-homer game and really close to 4. He doubled in another at-bat, and then in his final at-bat, flew out to the track. 2-1, changeup, swing and a miss. Great-looking pitch. It's 2-2.
Yeah, they're putting that up on the board as a fastball, but that's the same pitch we talked about earlier, where he had, in fact, it was Seager out in front. And the hitter will tip you off. As badly as he was fooled by that, that was a changeup, a hard changeup from Montero.
5-mile-an-hour difference, 95 to 90. The 2-2 two-out delivery coming. Inside, full count.
And you'd like more separation, but if you continue to keep the guys off balance, then I suppose there's value in it.
Danny Valencia is on deck. Mariners behind 4-1. And the 3-2 from Montero, skipping to the plate, ball 4. He lost Seager. And up comes Valencia, who lost a pair of pop-ups in foul ground in the top of the inning. 1 error charged, 1 nod. So Seager the runner. You know who knows the Seager family a little bit is our good friend Jay Horwitz. We talked about how Kyle Seager grew up in North Carolina, but his dad grew up in New Jersey, played at Fairleigh Dickinson. And when the sports information director at Fairleigh Dickinson was Jay Horwitz, you bet. One of the players on the baseball team that Jay was in charge of was Kyle Seager's dad.
Wait till you hear the name of one of the other players that Jay promoted over the years. And I'm not kidding about this one.
Pitch to the righty, Valencia scrapes the outside corner, 0-1.
I think he was a basketball player. I forget now. But his name was Redondo Duck. And that is just money for Jay.
You could have some fun in the press notes with Redondo Duck. 0-1 from Montero coming. High. Throw to first base, and Seager dives back in under the tag of Flores. A Redondo Duck, if you will.
That's just putty in Jay's hands. Redondo Duck.
Putty in Jay's hands ends up, there's a mess all over his shirt usually, by the way.
Well, that's called lunch.
Probably not much of a market for Horwitz putty. Silly putty, yes. Outfield a step back against Valencia. Rock on the rubber, the pitch, fastball, darts outside. It's 2-1.
Jay Horwitz and Tommy Lasorda are probably the only two people I've ever met that you've heard of pitchers tipping. Well, they tip their meals because they're all over their clothing.
What's the name of the guy who played Columbo years ago?
Harry Falk? No, Peter Falk.
Peter Falk. It's that look that's been cultivated with food. The 2-1 breaking ball chipped on the ground to short slowly. Reyes has got it. Little shuffle pass over to second base. Walker's on the bag, and the inning is over. Mets still on top. It is 4-1 here in Seattle. On to the fifth we go on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Summer is here. That means outdoor concerts, pool time, and enough SPF to cover a blue whale. It also means it's time for the Hyundai Summer Market.com.
Len Berman and Todd Schnitt in the morning. New York's most entertaining morning talk show, 6 till 10 Monday on 710 WOR.
Michael Conforto will lead it off in the fifth. He's already homered in his hometown tonight. How cool is that? 4-1 Mets have the lead as we go to the fifth, and back to the play-by-play. Here's Howie Rose.
Oh, as Conforto takes the first pitch fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Conforto, swinging a high pop-up foul ground near the third base dugout. Room for the catcher, who's called off by the third baseman, and Seager, the third baseman, snow cones it, but makes the catch. Zunino bailed at the last moment. And Kyle Seager just did hold on to that. So maybe that's the Mets strategy. Just put the ball in foul territory and let the Mariners do the rest.
They're 1 for 3 now. And Seager barely got that. He was screaming, I got it, I got it. The whole ballpark was like, really? Do you? Do you?
Well, here is Cabrera, who has 2 singles, and he has scored twice. That's 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Mariners 1 run on just 1 hit. And that was the home run by Mike Zunino, and they've made 2 errors. So the first pitch to Cabrera, batting right-handed, sails high and outside, ball 1. We're coming to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth. Bigelow Tea, who encourage you to grab a mug and tea proudly. Cano, the second baseman, shaded way over towards the bag. The 1-0 taken outside, a change or a split change, and the count 2-0. Although, as we mentioned before, and this doesn't really look to be the case. Miranda says they're 2 different pitches. They really don't appear to have any difference. The 2-0, there's another change, swung out and missed. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cabrera practically lunging across home plate to get that. I mean, I don't really see any difference at all in what you'd call his change or his split. And it becomes semantic to a lot of people. The 2-1 to Cabrera. Fastball in for a called strike, 2-2. They'll split their fingers with their change-up grip, and it serves the same purpose. Keep that hitter off stride, take a few miles an hour off the fastball. And now the 2-2 on the way. Fastball, and that's pop foul, straight back out of play. Sun beginning to set here in Seattle, but again, we're about 35 minutes or so away from what they say is going to be sunset time. In a city where they originally played baseball outdoors. Remember, the Seattle Mariners are not the first major league franchise to represent this city. In 1969, the American League expanded to 2 cities, Kansas City and Seattle. In 1969, the Seattle team was known as the Pilots. They only played here for 1 year. 2-2 to Cabrera, fastball high, 3-2. They played in an old yard called Six Stadium. And then, with really no money left to continue to run the franchise, they were sold in the spring of 1970 and moved just before the season started to a Milwaukee car dealer. Payoff pitch to Cabrera, swung on and missed, strike three. A fastball, and that's the 9th strikeout for Ariel Miranda. 2 men away, Yoenis Cespedes coming up. And that car salesman who bought the Seattle Pilots moved them to Milwaukee. He's going into the Hall of Fame next weekend. The Commissioner Emeritus now of baseball, Bud Selig. And then they played when the Mariners came into the American League in 1977 at the Kingdome, a place loved by few. First pitch to Cespedes, rides high, ball one. All right, I haven't seen it yet on the internet. I'm curious if we'll see it in the papers tomorrow. Headline, Mets trade Cespedes. It is a done deal. The 1-0 taken low, 2 balls and no strikes. Ricardo Cespedes, one of 2 minor leaguers that the Mets traded to the Miami Marlins, along with Merandy Gonzalez. Cespedes and Gonzalez go into the Marlins for A.J. Ramos. 2-0 to Yoenis Cespedes, fouled off to the right and had a play downstairs. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. American-made Peerless Boilers and Westside Plumbing Supply are your double play combination for savings this winter. Visit westsidesupply.com for more information, and remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. 2-1 to Cespedes. Fastball in tight, 3-1, with Jay Bruce waiting on deck. Cespedes struck out swinging in the first, looking in the third. Ariel Miranda with 9 strikeouts already through 4 2/3 innings. Here's the 3-1. Foul back to the screen. A fastball knee high. Cespedes knows he just missed one. He walks outside the batter's box and pounds the bat against each spike, ostensibly to kick some dirt, but probably more to show a little frustration. The 9 strikeouts of Miranda ties his season's high. He did that in May against the White Sox. And now the 3-2 to Cespedes, swinging a high fly ball hit to left center field. It'll stay in the park. Dyson, the center fielder, under it, makes the one-hand catch. Side retired. Nothing across. That is 8 in a row now retired by Miranda. And in the middle of the 5th inning, it's the Mets 4, the Mariners 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Mets Baseball is presented in part by Foley's. 100 Mbps of internet speed and unlimited calling. One low price. Find out more by calling.
Happens every summer. Stargazers delight in the opportunity to view constellations that can't be seen in winter.
You could win $1,000 a day for life.
We go to the last half of the 5th inning with the Mets leading the Mariners 4-1. Mitch Haniger, the right fielder, leads off for Seattle against Rafael Montero. And the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, 0-1. In-game box score sponsored by Old Dominion Freight Line, freight partner of the New York Mets. Zunino a homer for the only Seattle run. The 0-1 on the way, lined in the air to right. Back goes Bruce, still going. It's over his head, bounces off the wall. Bruce plays the carom cleanly, fires to second, but the throw is offline, and sliding in safely with a double is Mitch Haniger. And that breaks an 0-for-19 slump for the Mariners right fielder. A leadoff double. We'll pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
Win Mets tickets from Len and Todd in the morning, Monday at 7:30 and 8:30 on 710 WOR.
Howie Rose, Josh Lewin with you in Seattle. Mets 4, Mariners 1. Haniger, a leadoff double here in the 5th. And Gerard Dyson coming up. For the Mariners, Casey Candell is on the coaching lines at first. You know, his mom was a professional baseball player. She played in that old All-American Professional Girls League, as they called it. First pitch on the way, a fastball taken for a called strike, 0-1. That was the league that was documented in the movie A League of Their Own. She played for the Minneapolis Millerettes, the Fort Wayne Daisies, and the Kenosha Comets. Dyson flied to right his first time up. Montero sets. Here's the 0-1. And a ground ball back through the middle, base hit, going into center field. Around third, coming home is Haniger. He'll put on the brakes now as Conforto fires into the cutoff man Flores. Haniger comes to a dead stop as Maniacta, the third base coach, was waving him around. But runners first and third now, nobody out, and Mike Zunino coming up. And yes, the third base coach of the Mariners, our old friend, the former Mets coach and former big league manager, as my former broadcast partner Tom McCarthy used to call at him, never mind call him, Maniacta. That was his daily greeting to Manny. And so I kind of I ambushed him today. He was hitting some fungos during BP. Leave it to me to spell BP wrong, but I sneaked up behind him and I yelled, Maniacta! And he turns around, he gives me this look like, oh, it's you. Because he was telling me he had just seen T-Mac not too long ago when the Mariners played the Phillies.
Probably expecting the other guy.
Well, here's Mike Zunino now. 3-run homer his first time. Montero's first pitch taken outside, ball one. So really, this is the first time that Montero has had to make stressful pitches in this game. Zunino hit a solo homer with one out of the third inning. But other than that, there had been just two other base runners, both walks, in separate innings. A throw to first, and Dyson dives back safely. You've got to keep an eye on Dyson over at first. This is a guy who can certainly steal a base. He is second in the league with 22 in the American League. A 1-0 pitch. Zunino takes high, 2 balls and no strikes.
Huge inning here, obviously, for Montero. A lot of times that fifth inning is kind of the hill you have to crest. Can you push forward and go deep into the game or not? The fifth inning a lot of time tells the tale, and right now you got some home run hitters on approach, including the guy at the plate right now.
Another throw to first, a very close play, and diving back in is Dyson. Mets have the infield back at double play depth with runners at the corners, nobody out. It's 4-1 New York, but Zunino with 16 home runs now, the tying man at the plate. He had a great month last month when he drove in 31 runs. 2-0 on the way, swing and a miss at the change. That took some guts there, throwing a 2-0 change, but a swing and a miss in the count 2-1. Rene Rivera going out to the mound. I don't know if there was any kind of cross up there, but very often the catcher will tip you off on that when he goes out to the mound after a little funky reception of that pitch, as was made by Rivera.
Yeah, the way he caught it, he was almost on a dead sprint out to the mound as soon as he caught it. So, yeah, it was a gutsy pitch, and maybe he wasn't supposed to throw.
Gene Segura waiting on deck. Outfield straight up, the 2-1. Outside with a fastball, ball 3. There was some limbering going on in the Mets bullpen. A.J. Ramos is not one of those limbering. He'll perhaps be here as soon as tomorrow. But 3-1, the count to Zunino. Here's the pitch. Dyson runs from first, but the pitch inside, ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Near the top of the order coming up, including the league's second and third leading hitters, Gene Segura and Ben Gamel. Mets baseball is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Golden's Bridge, the newest member of the Celebrity Motor Car Company. Get the status you deserve off I-684 in Westchester County. So with the Mets leading 4-1, the tying runs are aboard, and Dan Warthen, the Mets pitching coach, is out at the mound checking in on Rafael Montero.
Well, so far, Howie, Montero against the guys with the resumes you mentioned. Segura and Gamel are combining to hit .325 this year. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts and a bounce out. So it's been Montero game, set, match against these two very dangerous hitters so far. But as we've always talked about, that third time through an order, somebody's making an adjustment to somebody. It's just a matter of who.
And the Mets are going to get some action in the bullpen. Looks like Adele, the righty, is looking from a long range here.
I think that's maybe edging the lefty.
Well, here's Segura. He has struck out twice. Right-hand batter. First pitch inside, ball 1. Montero missing with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So if Rafael Montero really is making progress, and it is Robles along with edging in the Mets pen, and Montero really is maturing, well, he's got a tough spot to work out of here. Bases loaded, no out. The 1-0. In the dirt, goes right through the legs of Rivera. Down the line, Haniger, he scores standing. The other runners move up as Dyson goes to third, Zunino to second. And it is 4-2 New York with second and third, nobody out. Now, if that is a wild pitch charge to Montero, it's the fourth that he's thrown this year. Getting a look at a replay now. Yes, it is a wild pitch. The ball in the dirt initially, Rivera looked like he wanted to backhand it, quickly turned the glove, but it's a wild pitch. And the tying run is at second with nobody out. 2-0 to Segura, the pitch. Swinging a chopper straight down at home plate, a foul ball. And the count 2-1. Ben Gamel, a left-hand hitter, is on deck. Montero is at 79 pitches so far, which is now on the high side with nobody out in the fifth. 2-1 pitch. In tight, ball three. You've got great speed at third, very little speed at second, but you've got good average hitters in Segura now, Gamel on deck, and then Robinson Cano behind Gamel. Cano with 19 homers and Cruz with 20 right behind him. Heavy lifting time. 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. In tight. Did he hold the swing? They check it first. No, he did, or he did not go around as the call from Shane Livensparger. It's ball four, and the bases are reloaded with nobody out. And left-hand hitting Ben Gamel coming up, and Montero now may be pitching on borrowed time.
This is one of those thunderstorms that just materializes out of nowhere. Every inning until this one, even the one inning with the solo home run from Zunino, there's only one base runner per inning at most against Montero. But with that booming double from Haniger to start this inning, you just sensed this could be a little different.
So that's 4 walks now allowed by Montero. Gamel has struck out and grounded to second. The outfield one step towards right. First pitch, curveball, and that's looped down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play. And the count 0-1. Robinson Cano, a left-hand batter, is on deck. So again, it's edging the lefty in the Mets bullpen, and Robles, the right-hander. 0-1 to Gamel. From the stretch, Montero deals. Breaking ball line towards first, foul ball. Beyond the reach of Flores, and the first base umpire, Shane Livensparger, had to kind of turn around because he was ducking away from the ball and could not really have gotten a great look at it, I don't think, initially.
Another slider up in the zone, though. Remember, hanging sliders, the undoing of Montero in his most recent start. That's an umpire, by the way, who's only been in the big leagues for 2 weeks. On borrow from the International League.
0-2, the count to Gamel. Bases loaded, nobody out. 4-2 Mets in the fifth. Montero's 0-2. Fastball in there, strike three called. He slipped over a 95-mile-an-hour fastball of the knees, and that is one king size out with a whole lot more to go as Robinson Cano will be the batter. For Montero, that's his fifth strikeout. Cano is flied to left and grounded to first. One thing Cano will do is ground into double plays. He has hit into 15 of them, fourth most in the American League, and wouldn't Montero love to throw one of those here? Now, this is a guy with over 2,300 big league hits who may, despite some more than occasional lapses in hustle, be on his way to the Hall of Fame. Big at-bat for Cano, of course, and a huge one for Montero. He sets to the shoulder, the first pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Rivera. And the count 1-0.
Cano with, Howie, 10 grand slams in his career. And one of those guys who kind of has a knack, doesn't he? Knows when the big RBI opportunity presents itself. It's a big stage. Always seems to figure out a way.
Driven in 66 this year. That's tied for 8th most in the American League. Middle infield back. Montero sets to the shoulder. Here's the 1-0. And it's outside. A changeup. 2 balls and no strikes. So now, if it took guts to throw a 2-0 changeup earlier in this inning, well, against Robbie Cano, what do you do here with the bases loaded and 2-0? Cano's got to be thinking dead red. Nelson Cruz waiting on deck. The third baseman Cabrera several steps off the line with Cano, a left-hand batter. 34 years old. When he cares to, he runs pretty well, meaning he still has pretty good speed. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball hit high in the air to right field. Deep, but it'll stay in the park and score a run. Bruce is under it, makes the catch. Dyson tags, scores from third. Bruce's throw goes over the head of Reyes, comes into third on one hop, so the other runner is holed. For Cano, a sacrifice fly, his 67th run batted in of the year, and the Mets lead is cut to 4-3. So first and second, 2 out, and Nelson Cruz coming up.
Second half of this 1-2 punch you get by Cano, but Cruz leads the American League in runs batted in, 75 of them. Has not had a great homestand. He's just 5 out of 31, so I mean you can make the case that he's due, but frankly he's just not looked great the last week or so. In fact, took a called third strike just last inning tonight.
Well, he's 0 for his last 14, but then again Haniger was 0 for his last 19 before he led off this inning with a double over the head of Jay Bruce off the right field wall. So Montero sets his first pitch. Fastball missed outside, ball 1. Kyle Seager, another power hitter, waits on deck. Nelson Cruz at age 37 in his third year with the Mariners. He has enormous power. Right-hand batter. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss at a sinker. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Cruz has hit 40 or more home runs 3 years in a row. In his 1 year with the Orioles, he hit 40. And that was good enough to get Cruz a 3-year deal with the Mariners. And he's hit 44 and 43 in his first 2. Actually, it's a 4-year deal. He's got 1 more. The 1-1 swing and a miss at a fastball diving down and in, a good sinker. And it's 1-2 now to Cruz. So Montero gave up back-to-back hits to start the inning, then walked the next 2 hitters. Wild pitch scored a run, sac fly scored a run. He's bent, but he hasn't broken. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Low outside with a slider, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fordo, the center fielder, a couple of steps the other way against the right-hand hitting Cruz, who's hit .337 with men in scoring position. That's 10th best in the league. And he's got Zunino, the catcher, at second, and Segura with real good speed at first. 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, bounds to the right of Rivera, but the runner is holed. So now a full count, and both runners will have automatic starts. Zunino certainly can use it. He's not fast. But for Segura, he could score from first base on a single when he's running on the pitch. 2 runs in, 4-3. The Mets lead the Mariners here in the 5th. Seager on deck, a left-hand hitter. If Montero doesn't get Cruz, he might well come out of the game here. Josh Edgen has long been ready in the Mets bullpen. So Montero taking a little extra time, bends in, gets the sign from Rivera. Now sets at the shoulders. Runners will be going 3-2. They're on the way. The payoff pitch is inside, ball 4. The bases are loaded, and that's going to be it. Terry Collins immediately pops out of the dugout. 3 walks in the inning, 5 overall by Montero, who has an inning of regression. And it will be Josh Edgen coming into the game. It's Mets 4, Mariners 3. Bases loaded, 2 out in the 5th. This pitching change is sponsored by... Well, this pitching change is sponsored by Windorama. Windorama.com. Mets 4, Mariners 3, with 2 out and the bases loaded here in the last of the 5th inning. And Josh Edgen comes on to face Kyle Seager, who flied to center and drew a walk. Edgen with the bases loaded, working out of the stretch. He sets the first pitch. Breaking ball over for a called strike. Good curve. It's 0-1. Edgen in a hot spot, but don't you sweat it. Luxair will keep you cool all summer long. Go to LuxAirCares.com. Zunino at third, Segura at second, Cruz at first. By far, Segura at second, the fastest of the 3. 2 out. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball, that's slowing inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hand hitting Danny Valencia is on deck. Haniger, who started this inning with a double, another right-hand hitter behind him. And so with Robles up and ready, this may well be just a one-batter assignment here for Josh Edgen. Outfield is straightaway. The infield swings to the right. They're not overshifted. Time called at home plate. Shortstop Jose Reyes is to the left of second base, but pulled way over towards the bag. And Cabrera gives up a lot of that third base line to Seager. Lefty against lefty here. Here's the 1-1 pitch. In the dirt with a slider. And it's 2-1, and with the bases loaded, nowhere to put him.
Edgen has not exactly been a lefty specialist this year. Lefties are hitting .270 against him. It's actually a bit higher than what righties have done.
So 2-1 the count. Mets leading 4-3. 2 runs in here in the fifth. Mets originally led 4-0. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a ground ball left side, base hit, going into left field. In to score Zunino. Dyson around third, flying to the plate, slides in safely ahead of the throw from Cespedes. Stopping at second is Cruz, and on at first with a 2-run single is Kyle Seager. The Mariners have 4 runs in here in the fifth inning. Seattle takes a 5-4 lead.
Just a cue shot, escaping both the shortstop and third baseman. Dyson confidently coming around third. That is going to be it for Josh Edgen. Opposite field serve shot at the feet of Yoenis Cespedes.
And this pitching change is sponsored by the New York. This call to the bullpen will get the lefty out, as a 2-run single by Kyle Seager has put the Mariners on top 5-4 here at the bottom of the fifth inning. So Hansel Robles comes in with Cruz at second, Seager at first, and 2 men out. Robles overall 6-1 with a 5.27 earned run average. A little bit better since he's come up from the minor leagues, just allowing 1 run in 5 2/3. Montero is responsible for Cruz at second. Seager at first belongs to Edgen. And really all the Mets are looking for here is just 1 out, get back into the dugout, keep this a 1-run game at 5-4 Seattle. And then the Mets will have the middle of the order coming up when we go to the 6th inning. So Robles will face Valencia, who is popped to third and hit into a fielder's choice, a right-hand batter. And with a man in scoring position, his mouth is watering. He's hit over 440 in those spots since the beginning of June. First pitch, breaking ball over for a called strike, 0-1. All in all, Valencia has hit .338 with men in scoring position. That's the 8th best mark in the league. Since the 2nd of June, it's .441. So even though he's not the biggest name in this lineup, he's not one of the guys you'd like to see up in this spot. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Fastball up at 97. A huge cut from Valencia, and he fouled it back. Mitch Haniger waiting on deck. That's 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Mariners 5 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors. The walks tonight returned to the portfolio of starter Rafael Montero. He walked 5, including 3 in this inning. Also threw a wild pitch here in the 5th. Robles sets. Here's the 0-2. Fastball a little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That low strike hasn't been getting called consistently tonight by Chris Conroy. Robles wearing a look like he thought he had strike 3. Rene Rivera might have just said something as the Met catcher right behind 2.
98 miles an hour on that last fastball from Hansel Robles. Never any doubt about the arm. No, he can throw. They like to see him pitch a little bit more. 1-2 the count. He bends at the waist, now straightens. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3, side retired. So Robles does the job to get Valencia with a slider, but the Mariners in the 5th take the lead as they scored 4 runs on 2 hits. No errors, 2 left, and at the end of 5, it's the Mariners 5 and the Mets 4 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. Your good friends at Bigelow remind you that nothing goes better with baseball and barbecues this summer than your favorite
flavor clearance event is going on now. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Ready for a new deck? Try the new Trop on 710 WOR.
We head to the 6th inning with the Mariners out in front of the Mets now 5-4. The Mets will have the middle of their lineup to face Ariel Miranda here in the 6th inning. Miranda has struck out 9 and walked 1. It is an honor to be working in a broadcast booth on a broadcast complex, really, that is named for Hall of Fame broadcaster Dave Niehaus, who was just such a great play-by-play guy for so many years for the Mariners. Passed away several years ago. He's a Hall of Famer. Jay Bruce, the batter, takes a fastball high and tight, ball 1. Bruce, a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. Also drew a walk. He's the cleanup hitter, presented by Direct Waste Services. Here's the 1-0 on the way to Bruce. And that's taken low, ball 2. Direct Waste, the best in the business when it comes to commercial, residential, and industrial pickup. Visit them at directwasteservices.com today to schedule your pickup. Infield overshifted, the 2-0 pitch, swinging a high pop-up, shallow right center, angling in Haniger, the right fielder. Back goes the shortstop Segura, and it's Segura who makes the catch out in center field, with the center fielder Dyson right behind him, and Haniger, the right fielder, right alongside. That's hitting it into the triangle. 1 man away. And before Flores, we'll pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
WOR and WAXQ-HD2, New York.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss at a fastball. 92-mile-an-hour fastball and a huge cut by Wilmer. And the count 1-1. Flores is struck out and driven in a run with a sacrifice fly.
Flores actually conked Zunino on the head on that backswing. Made sure he was okay before getting back in the box.
1-1 the count. Now Miranda's pitch. Fastball high, ball 2. So throw Zunino into our injury update. Brought to you by the Rothenberg Law Firm, injurylawyer.com. Fighting and winning on behalf of seriously injured clients for over 47 years. Never settle for less. Call 1-800-624-8888 or visit injurylawyer.com. So there's Zunino. Here's the 2-1. Fastball swung on and missed 2-2. But there are returnees, not only Neil Walker, who is playing tonight, and in fact Walker is on deck, but also Brandon Nimmo is back with the ball club on the active roster in uniform and available. Tyler Hill has been sent back to AAA Las Vegas, the pitcher. Here's the 2-2 to Flores. Swinging a high fly ball, well hit to left. Gamble going back at the track, at the wall. He makes the catch just to the right of the 376 mark. And maybe Flores got it just a shade up towards the end of the bat, but he didn't miss a home run by much. And now with 2 out, nobody on, Neil Walker will be the batter. Surprises are great, except when you're driving. Take on the unexpected with Nissan's available Intelligent Safety Shield technologies. Shop your local Nissan store today and choose Nissan.com. Innovation that excites. They've got a great gadget in this booth. First pitch to Walker. Taken for a called strike, 0-1. Release, and there's your copy. A little Flintstone-ish, but it works. The 0-2 to Walker, swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a slider. Side retired. So through the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet, we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning after the Mets go in order. Middle of the 6th. It's the Mariners 5 and the Mets 4 on the WOR Mets Radio Network. 10 strikeouts now for Miranda, and you know the whole shish kebab is driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Head to Hyundai of Long Island City today. Take some of the hassle out of running your business. Clover from First Data helps you manage inventory.
We go to the last of the 6th inning. Mariners 5, Mets 4. Terry Collins made the right choice when he went to Hansel Robles, who struck out Danny Valencia to end the 4-run 5th for Seattle. Remember, your choices matter too. Drive 25 in New York City. A reminder from the Vision Zero initiative. So Robles stays on, and he'll work to Mitch Haniger. First pitch, breaking ball inside, ball 1. Haniger started that 4-run 5th when he doubled off the right field wall. He would score on a wild pitch by Montero. A 1-0. Slider on the outside corner, 1-1. So the line on Montero, and it's closed now. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 5 runs, all earned, 5 walks. That's the killer for him. A wild pitch, 5 strikeouts, and he allowed a homer. So a step backwards for Montero. The 1-1 slider hit on the ground to the left side, backhanded by Reyes. Shortstop hole, fires to first. Flores has it, one away. Flores had to reach up the right field line just a bit and play a low throw from Reyes. But 1 up, 1 down here at the bottom of the 6th inning, and the number 8 hitter, Gerard Dyson, will be the batter. Hope to see you at Citi Field next Saturday, August 5th. Mets will face the Dodgers. That'll be a 4:05 start. And the first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive not a Ricardo Cespedes jersey, because, you know, Ricardo has been traded to the Marlins in the deal that has brought A.J. Ramos to the Mets, but they'll get a Yoenis Cespedes number 52 chain, courtesy of the great Good Humor. First pitch to Dyson, taken outside and high, ball 1. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. I don't know, at least in my neighborhood in Bayside, if there was a much more anticipated sound than that Good Humor truck ringing its bells. They had great specials. Like every month they'd have something different. 1-0 to Dyson, a fastball outside, 2-0. And I'm old enough to remember when Alaska and Hawaii came into the Union and became the 49th and 50th states, respectively. They had something called a Baked Alaska in honor of Alaska. I don't remember what the heck was in it, but it was good. 2-0 on the way. Breaking ball for a called strike, 2-1. Then again, I was 5, so, well, you know, any ice cream was going to taste good.
If you're willing to eat part of a 49th state, I guess the question becomes, will you channel your inner Gary Cohen and sample the toasted grasshoppers?
Don't tell me he had those.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 to Dyson. Check swing, foul ball into the second deck to the left of home plate, 2-2.
That's the new delicate thing. I would say if you put some
I'll just put the cheese.
Gary's over there.
Doctor will love that one.
Gary's over there.
He wants you to think they're fried ground. I'm not buying it.
Sleight of hand, you say. All right.
Payoff pitch to Dyson. Swinging a high pop-up, shallow right. Walker out. He's calling. And Neil Walker makes the one-hand catch with Bruce right behind him. 2 men away.
If we happen to end up, for some bizarre reason, Howie, this year in northern Ohio, I don't know why that would happen, but...
Visit John Neese. He's at home.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, and that's a great hometown for him, by the way. But Double-A Akron, they've got something called... It's like a turducken, I guess.
They're open. The 1-0 to Zanino. Swung on and missed a breaking ball from Robles. It's 1-1. Mariners leading 5-4. 2 out, nobody on, bottom of the 6th.
The Indians this year have a hot dog.
Taking low outside ball, 2. I'll tell you what, I don't think any of them can touch that. That's top shelf.
That are good put together.
For a called strike, 2-2.
Well, anyway.
If he is, I'll be.
He passed on this a great sushi. Adequate.
Pitch to Zanino. Breaking ball pulled on the ground through the hole. Base hit going into left field. So a 3-2 slider from Robles. And Zanino, the number 9 hitter, is aboard for the 3rd time. A homer, a walk, and now a single. He has 2 runs scored, and back to the top of the order, and Gene Segura.
Zanino is really finally, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, developing. It just took him a really, really long time. If you're the number 3 pick in a draft, you're supposed to produce at some point, and this is now the point. 2012 draft is when he was taken. A dozen picks before the Dodgers took Corey Seager.
Dan Wanton, the Mets pitching coach, has come out to check with Hansel Robles, who had retired all 3 batters that he faced until that 2-out single by Zanino on 3-2. And Chris Conroy, the home plate up, is on his way to the mound to break up the meeting. Dan Wanton turned just before Conroy got to the mound.
Psych.
Absolutely. Draw him out.
Right.
Not like he doesn't need the exercise. You know, that's one thing we don't realize or don't acknowledge often enough about the umpires. These guys don't get a break all game. Mm-hmm. They're on their feet. Some of these games are interminable, and they're standing the whole time. First pitch to Segura, fastball low, ball 1.
I got so much respect for umpires. I really do. They don't get a home game ever. They're on the road all year. All the abuse you can take. They're compensated well. They're top of their profession.
1-0 to Segura. In for a called strike, a fastball, 1-1.
They're easy targets, of course. Any official in any sport is always going to be an easy target, but With a few exceptions. I mean, some guys just have bad days. The Get Off My Lawn act by Jerry Davis the other day comes to mind.
Will Little was no better.
Yes, true.
1-1 on the way. Fastball outside, 2-1. He threw everybody out but the vendors.
Little patience.
Ben Gamble, hitter waiting on deck. Mets bullpen is quiet. Mariners lead 5-4 with 2 out here in the last of the 6th. Zunino, the runner at first, short lead with Flores holding. Very short lead, in fact. And the 2-1 pitch. Inside, he hit it. Looked like he hit him around the wrist. And Gene Segura hit by the pitch from Hansel Robles. First and second, 2 out, and Ben Gamble coming up.
Now, he's already been on the DL twice this year, once with a hand injury. So he's looking down at that left wrist, flexing his fingers, and starting a slow walk towards first base, thinking, man, please, not again. Looked like the fingers wrapped around the bat, really, is where I got him.
The Mariners trainer and their manager, Scott Service, are accompanying Segura on his long walk towards first. Terry Collins is going out to the home plate. I'm Chris Conroy. He might be questioning whether Segura actually went around with the bat. I would imagine that's what Terry wants to find out here. That would be a swinging strike.
Or whether or not, as I said, I mean, it really looked like it was the...
What do you think? Maybe it just hit...
Oh, you know what? Yeah, the knob of the bat.
Yeah.
And you know what? And not to be a total cynic here, but that was a late ow reaction by Segura. I mean, he's still flexing his hand, and it's entirely possible that part of his hand got brushed. But that replay we just saw, that looked like it hit the bottom of the bat, and maybe he was just trying to sell the fact that it got him in the fingers.
Well, it could be. It's challenge time here. Manager's Challenge presented by Action Environmental. For all your business's recycling and waste needs, make the right decision and take action with Action Environmental, New York's leading solid waste and recycling company. Well, that definitely got knob of the bat. Question is, did it get finger or part of the hand?
I think it might possibly. All I saw was a little ripple, Howie, of that batting glove, the blue batting glove with the white of the baseball against the blue of the batting glove. Oh, they're going to call him back.
He's going to say it didn't hit him.
And Segura, I mean, well, either he's a really bad actor or he's gotten over his injury very quickly.
Now, one other thing, just to clean up the initial speculation, he did not come close to going around, so
right.
It had nothing to do with whether or not he swung the bat. In fact, it's just a foul ball off the knob of the bat.
The thing that kind of gave it away on that replay was that belated reaction, the Rodney Dangerfield and Caddyshack, ooh, my arm. Oh, yeah, I'm hurt. Right. It was just that little half a second hesitation that you could only see on replay. But, boy, that's embarrassing. How you make a big deal of it, bring the trainer out, start flexing your fingers. Oh, man, I'm really concerned. And then they look at the replay, and they bust him.
He's no John Lovitz.
Master thespian.
Exactly. He's got a ways to go. So the count 2-2 now to Segura. Zunino at first, 2 out, or 1 out, pardon me. No, it's 2 out. Scoreboard's got 1. And the next pitch driven into left center field for a base hit. So stopping at second is Zunino, and Segura comes out way ahead as he ends up singling. Scoreboard still only has 1 out, but it's 2 because Hanniger grounded to short. Dyson flied to right, but now runners at first and second, 2 out. And with lefty Ben Gamble due up, here is Terry Collins on his way to the mound.
Well, he went down and got one that was almost in the dirt there, Howie. Yeah, that's a heck of a way to get a hit.
So Terry is going to go to the bullpen for the left-hander Jerry Blevins. And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by... This call to the bullpen was 2 out last of the 6th. Seattle leading the Mets 5-4. And guess who's in the game for New York? Jerry Blevins. Remember how often he's been used this year? Well, he's just come back from vacation. Jerry Blevins is actually making his first appearance in exactly a week since he picked up a 5-out save last Friday night against the Oakland A's. Facing left-hand hitting Ben Gamble with Zunino at second, Segura at first, 2 out, 6th inning. First pitch, curveball, and that's in for a called strike, 0-1. So Blevins came into this game tied for 5th in the league in appearances with 48, 4-0, a 3.16 earned run average. Outfield playing Gamble to pull. Now Blevins sets. Here's the 0-1. Fastball taken low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The lefties have hit just 173 against Blevins. The righties, though, have hit 316 against him. And that's kind of a reversal to form, if you will. Last year, somewhat aberrationally, as good a year as Blevins had, he had reverse splits where the lefties hit him better than the righties, but not this year. Here's the 1-1. Curve swung on and missed. 1-2. And there are a lot of signals being sent out that Jerry Blevins is a player the Mets have no intention of moving. They have an option on him for next year. And just with the addition of A.J. Ramos, that means the Mets will already have Familia, Ramos, and Blevins, if they do pick up his option, committed for next year. And that's a good start to the bullpen. 1-2. Here's the pitch. Curve fouled back to the screen. Gamble reached and just got a piece of that 73-mile-an-hour curveball from Jerry. Dayton, Ohio's finest. University of Dayton. He is one really interesting guy.
Got a great Twitter feed, as you'd expect.
He is, I think you would agree with this, as unaffected a major league player as I think I've ever met.
Regular guy in every way.
Down to earth as they come. 1-2, and now Blevins steps off.
What did he tweet about today that he found here in Seattle? It was like a chocolate eclair or something like that. And he was self-aware enough to follow it up by, why am I tweeting this?
1-2 the count. Now the pitch. Curve swung on and missed. Strike 3. The ball in the dirt picked up by Rivera. Throws to first to complete the strikeout. Side retired. So Blevins, as usual, gets it done against the lefty. And the Mariners done in the 6th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. At the end of 6 innings, Mariners 5, Mets 4 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Welcome to Papa John's 6th inning. All season long, the day after the Mets score 6 or more runs, you get 50% off the
10 WOR and 104.3 FM HD2.
We go to the 7th inning. The Mariners lead the Mets 5-4. Ariel Miranda, the starting pitcher for Seattle, is done for the night. Nick Vincent, a right-hander, will come into the game for the Mariners, and he's going to be a tough one for the Mets right now, Josh, because here at home, Vincent has not allowed a run this year in 22 2/3 innings.
He has equaled the Mariners' single-season record for consecutive scoreless relief innings in a home ballpark. George Sherrill, 2007, had a run like this. This is a guy that's allowed an opponent's batting average of just 165. Great year for the former Padre. Looks like he could hide maybe 3 or 4 current Padres in that beard he's got right now. It's a goatee, but it's basically down past his chin towards the front of his jersey. Granderson, left-hander, takes the strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Now the Mets probably very glad to see Ariel Miranda off the mound now. Pitch on the way to Granderson, taken on the inside corner, 0-2. We didn't know that much about Miranda coming in. Obviously, the Mets don't face the Mariners. We've seen Miranda on TV occasionally and whatnot. Knew he had a good slider, good splitter. 0-2 pitch, taken in tight, 1-2. We knew that he shared a name with a Disney princess. The first name of Ariel.
I love The Little Mermaid.
That's a great movie. 1-2 is rolled foul down near first. Tom Goodwin skips out of the way. Well, it's a nautical theme here, right? I mean, if you're going to channel a Disney princess, I would think Ariel would be the right one. Mermaids and tridents and all kinds of nautically themed things here.
The late, great Buddy Hackett did one of the voices in that movie.
Yeah, that's right. Buddy Hackett, wow. 1-2 on the way to Granderson. Swing, it's pegged foul down near first, again near Tom Goodwin, who's got to be thinking, what did I do? Mets baseball is brought to you by the City Double Cash Card. Wouldn't it be great if everyone said what they meant? The City Double Cash Card does. Earn 1% cash back when you buy, 1% as you pay. The City Double Cash Card, double means double. 34,543, we are told, the paid attendance tonight. 1-2 from Vincent is down and in. And just to bring it back to Miranda for a second, this is a guy who, Howie, in 32 big league starts, had never struck out double digits in a game. He did that tonight and needed only 6 innings to get it done. So a really strong outing for him, but only leading by a run. 2-2 taken inside. Full count to Granderson. Close pitch. Curtis 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and a little ground out right out in front of the plate. Shift is on for him. Payoff pitch. Wave and a miss. It's juggled and held onto by Zunino. Strike 3. That one just boring down and in on him. Great looking slider from Vincent. And Jose Reyes to the plate. Ram Trucks, experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer, or log on to ramtrucks.com to get to work. Guts, glory, Ram. And the Cards back to Madge. How come we don't get to use that tongs thing? It only goes one way.
Well, you know we can't be trusted with that stuff.
Oh, I know. We'd be picking cotton candy out of things as they paraded by. Pitch to Reyes is inside, 0-1. Madge does bring up another interesting point, though, on that topic.
Interesting. It's true.
Yeah. 0-1 pitch to Reyes. Slug down the first base line. It's barely foul. Rolling towards the corner, but foul. 0-2. Madge correctly asserts we are not the most mechanically inclined duo in the history of radio, so it's possible we would misfire with the tongs. We'd be getting people's toupees. Who knows what we'd be doing.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be a great bit. Guy walking by, yoink. Sorry, sir, it's Madge's tongs. We just don't know how to operate them.
And you look better without it, by the way.
Pitch on the way, and Reyes takes the low. It's 1-2.
Madge is trying to find out if Josh's hair is real.
It's real. Cut that out. Don't take my glasses off either. I can't see. That's right, Cotton. I will not be able to see very well. 1-2 is rammed foul back to the net. Still 1-2 to Reyes. I'm going to be looking all around when I sleep tonight, too. It's getting in my head.
Yeah, we've given Madge some toys over the years, and it hasn't always gone well. Remember that Vuvuzela?
Yes.
Heard that in your sleep, didn't you?
I did. 1-2 from Vincent coming. Breaking ball, pounded it foul down near first, and we'll do it again. 5-4 Seattle, our score.
I have seen him use the Vuvuzela. I guess it's officially pronounced Vuvuzela. Well, we call it a Vuvuzela. You know what it is, and I know what it is. I once...
It's a long horn.
...was subjected to Madge with a whistle.
Oh, man.
Where he kept doing the whole Herb Brooks bit.
Oh, no.
With the bag skate, he'd blow the whistle again.
1-2, liner down the right field line. Foul one more time. Reyes keeps coming close. Ball is picked up by a fan with an old-fashioned Mariners T-shirt on. The upside-down trident logo that they got rid of after they figured out that in Greek tradition, the upside-down trident, very, very bad luck. And they figured, oh, well, that's why we never win around here. They had a Greek owner and everything. He finally said, wait a minute, what? Took us that long to figure it out? 1-2, swing and a miss. Reyes finally polished off. High fastball. 12 times the Mets have struck out in the game. Rene Rivera comes up next. Poseidon never held his trident with the pointy parts down, always up. That's what they figured out here. And they did start to win a little bit in the 80s, heading towards the 90s. They certainly didn't win in the 70s when they were first invented, 1977. Took them 14 years, actually, to have a winning record, this franchise. Swing and a miss by Rivera, 0-1.
Took him Junior Griffey.
Yeah, basically. To really make a dent, that's true.
There's a statue of Junior outside Safeco Field.
This is the Mariners' 40th anniversary season. And so far, they've been in the playoffs only 4 times. Swing and a miss by Rivera. He's behind 0-2. No playoff appearances at all since 2001. That is the longest drought in the major leagues. At least they've got the trident pointed the right way now. 5-4 Seattle, top 7. Kicking the pitch. Slider outside, 1-2. Back at the Kingdome, when they were struggling to draw fans, boy, they would turn anything into a promotion back then. The players just weren't very good for a while. 1-2 is high, 2-2. They would have mascot competitions and paper plane contests. Funny nose glasses night, which actually drew 37,000.
High-class crowd.
Right. 25,000 came to see Gaylord Perry's 300th win. Pitch is taken inside. It's 3-2 to Rivera.
I mean, when I was a kid, I'd have lined up for that glasses and funny nose thing.
Some of us actually have them on currently. Just, they're permanent. Payoff pitch. Swing, fly ball, left field, going back on it. Gamble near the track. He's there, makes the catch, inning over. So Vincent now has set a new Mariner standard. He's alone with the most scoreless appearances at home, all in a row. 7th inning stretch at Safeco Field. It is Seattle 5 and the Mets 4. Put the tongs down, Madge, on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Monthly lease payment is available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services that participate.
5-4. Seattle's got the lead. Bottom of the 7th coming up as we come to you live from the Bigelow Tea broadcast booth. Bigelow Tea encouraging you to grab a mug and tea proudly. Jerry Blevins continues for now on the mound. It is lefty-righty-lefty up in this inning. Nelson Cruz is the right-handed part of all that. Cano first. 0 for 2 in the sac fly tonight. Former Yankee left-hand batter taking, and it's inside 1-0. As much as Seattle fans rightfully revere the likes of, well, for example, Edgar Martinez, whose number they're going to be retiring in 2 weeks, Cano has more career hits than Edgar Martinez. Taking here on the inside corner. Cano got a lot of money to come here. Remember all that? He was still is repped by Jay-Z. $240 million contract negotiated. 1-1 pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner. I remember Pete Rose had the ultimate throwing of the shade as Cano was complaining about that last strike call, by the way. He said Jay-Z not only got Cano a big raise, he got him a 30-day vacation built in. It's called October, said Pete Rose, knowing that the Mariners don't make the playoffs that often, but they got a shot this year. 3.5 out in the wild card. 1-2. Bounced it to the plate, and Cano's got to look like, well, I know that's not a strike. 2-2.
Say what you will about Pete Rose, but he's had some pretty good lines over the years, and that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Now you look at the numbers of Cano. I mean, not just the financial numbers. He was offered, I think it was like $60 million more here in Seattle than anywhere else. It was just a huge contract. 2-2 pitch. Curve is swatted up the middle. Behind the bag, Reyes has got it. A little double clutching now with throw to get a jogging Cano, don't you know? That is 1 out.
See, that's the thing. He didn't challenge Reyes there. When he saw Reyes field that ball cleanly to Cano, the play was over. If he's flying down the line, and he still has pretty good speed at age 34, then Reyes has to rush the throw, and who knows what you've got at first base. But that's been the thing about Robinson Cano that would drive anybody who watches him play every day crazy. There was no reason for him not to make Reyes make a real good throw there, and instead he made it easy for Jose.
2,300 career hits, but imagine how many more he might have snuck out with a little bit more running. Here's Nelly Cruz, takes on the inside corner, strike 1. Seattle 5 and the Mets 4. And the big news for the Mets tonight, another trade. This time, 2 guys going in the other direction that you probably haven't heard of, but you've heard of the guy coming in. 0-1 to Cruz, squibbed up the first base line, but foul, 0-2. A.J. Ramos, the Marlins closer, is on his way to becoming a Met. And let's play Miami editor for a moment here. They're the ones that are going to have fun with that Cuban community in Miami. You've got the banner headline tomorrow. Marlins acquire Cespedes. And it's true, it's Ricardo Cespedes, and he's 20 years old.
Yeah, their jaded fans would know better.
Yeah, that's the Cespedes you went out and got us, Jeffrey Loria. Thanks. The 0-2 pitch, curve in the dirt, 1-2.
I'll tell you one thing, that sale process is dragging on way beyond what the commissioner, Rob Manfred, wanted. He wanted that thing settled by prior to the All-Star game there, and who knows how much longer it's going to go on. Jorge Mas now, who would be considered the favorite, is still trying to line up more investors.
Get Jay-Z involved. Good negotiator, we hear. 1-2 from Blevins. Curve is hit high in the air. Soaring drive to left center. Long run back, Conforto at the track. He'll make the catch. Just a little bit under it. Nelson Cruz out number 2 of the inning. And Kyle Seager coming up. This copyrighted broadcast presented by the authority of Sterling Mets may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. So Kyle Seager, who knocked in a couple of runs off Josh Edgen, a left-hander in the 5th inning, just kind of squirted one between short and third. Gene Segura racing in. Gene Segura, liar, liar, pants on fire. Pitch to Seager's outside 1-0. Remember, Segura singled after he apparently pretended to get hit by a pitch. Sold it by flexing his fingers, wincing, howling in pain. And then replay review showed all of that was a fabrication. 1-0, strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
Be fun to hear Terry Collins' take on that tomorrow.
He became the other John Lovitz character, that Tommy Flanagan bit that he did. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, that really hurt. Not in the age of video replay, son. 1-1 to Seager is low, 2-1. Mariners leading 5-4, out hitting the Mets 6-5. Now the Mets will have the top of the order up in the 8th inning. We should mention the Seattle bullpen has actually been very good these last 10 weeks or so. 2.6 ERA, that's the best in the major leagues.
Looks like David Phelps, the righty, throwing in the Mariners bullpen.
Former Marlins everywhere in our discussions tonight. The 2-1, swing and a miss at the curve. It's 2-2. The Mariners today traded former Marlins closer Steve Cishek to Tampa Bay. The current Marlins closer, A.J. Ramos, gets traded over here to the Mets. And David Phelps, very recently a Mariner reliever, he might be in the game very soon tonight. 2-2-2 out pitch. Sliced foul back to the screen. We'll do it again. And we tell you that MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game. Blackout and other restrictions do apply, but visit MLB.TV for details. Now the lights are taking full effect now. I know it's pretty late back home, 12:43 a.m., but it was only dark here about half an hour ago in Seattle. The 2-2 curve down and in. Obviously the very western part of the United States here, northwest corner. 3-hour time difference accounts for some of why it took so long for the sun to go down, if you're thinking about it in New York terms. But because we're at the west end of a time zone, 9 o'clock is when the sun sets tonight, local time. Payoff on the way from Blevins. Curve, knocked foul down near first, right by Casey Candell.
We're just a couple of hours south of Vancouver, British Columbia, here in Seattle. A gorgeous city, Vancouver.
And that drive between Vancouver and Seattle, there's a lot to look at. And if you head about even 30 minutes east of here, there's a place called Snoqualmie Falls, which is some of the best scenery I've ever taken in. 3-2 pitch. It's pop foul out of play back to the third base side.
Snoqualmie Falls, step by step, inch by inch.
SN, oh no, I can't do it. Oh, SN, well, there's a Q in there, but anyway, got great waterfalls. Best brunch you've ever had, too, Howie. They just keep bringing you meat until you're tapped out.
I usually call that dinner.
Here's a 3-2. Swinging, it's pounded towards second base. Neil Walker's got it. Trips, gets up, throws to first in time. And that does retire Seager, retires his side. We go to the 8th inning. Seattle 5 and the Mets 4. On the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Glenn Berman and Todd Schnitt in the morning is New York's most entertaining morning talk show. Sports Zone with Pete McCarthy, 6 till 9 weeknights, and after the Mets on 710 WOR.
5-4 Seattle as we go to the 8th, and the universe is trolling me here, Howie, knowing that I couldn't even spell Snoqualmie Falls. Mark Zipchinski is now in the game, pitching for the Mariners.
It's not fair.
I'm looking at it to spell it correctly. RZEPCZYNSKI. And the left-hander is on to face Michael Conforto, who's already hit a home run in this game. Big return to Seattle for Conforto. What an exciting thing that must have been for him as that ball got up and out to right field. And with a big pass list here, let's see if he can go get another tough performer here for the Seattle Mariners. Mets have been out hit 6-5. They have struck out a dozen times in this game, but Conforto, Cabrera, Cespedes all coming up against Zipchinski here. 3.4 ERA. And here for the play-by-play in the 8th inning, here's the very easy to spell and pronounce Howie Rose.
Why, thank you. Michael Conforto, 1 for 3. Takes a fastball low for ball 1. Well, Zipchinski had a nice year for the Mariners. 37 games, 18 1/3 innings pitched. 1-0 at 3.44 ERA. His problem could be control. The 1-0 launch deep to right, down the lines, got a chance, gone, home run! Michael Conforto's second home run of the game has tied the game 5-5. So Conforto, in his homecoming, has excelled with a pair of homers, both of them lasers, tracers. And that one a few feet fair to the left of the foul pole. It's 326 down the right field line. And Conforto now with 21 home runs on the year. The Mets have tied at 5-5. That is going to be it for Zipchinski. So again, like just about every manager does, Scott Service saw Vincent work a quick 1-2-3 7th inning, striking out 2, but no, lefty leads off the 8th. Lefty gave up the home run to the lefty. And now he will leave the game, meaning Zipchinski. Conforto has left the yard. 5-5 the score, and this call to the bullpen. And so, David Phelps, the new pitcher now for the Mariners, after what looked like a middle-in fastball from Zipchinski, was shot like a dart into the lower stands in right field, right over that yellow line. And Michael Conforto, big smile, thumbs up for the camera. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera in a 5-5 game, taking the first pitch slider for a called strike, 0-1. So David Phelps, who was traded by the Marlins for 4 minor leaguers just a little over a week ago, facing Cabrera, the 0-1 taken outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. That homer by Conforto, really you couple them, meaning the one that he hit in the 3rd inning. Sweet play of the game, brought to you by Domino Sugar. The real way to do sweet. Visit dominosugar.com for recipes and coupons today. 1-1 pitch. Late swing and a miss at a fastball. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Asdrubal Cabrera. A couple of singles and a strikeout. 2 runs scored. So 5-5 the score. It's up to the bullpens now. The 1-2 breaking ball down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phelps, 3 games as a Mariner. 3 innings. He's allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And the homer by Conforto was only the second given up this year by the lefty Zipchinski. Well, then again, Vincent looked just fine, didn't he? Working a perfect 7th. 2-2 pitch, line to center, going to fall in for a base hit. Played on the second hop by Dyson. And now Phelps gives up a base hit to the first batter he faces, Cabrera. 3-hit night for Asdrubal. And it'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes with nobody out in the 8th inning.
Well, Cabrera, since the All-Star break, hitting right around 330. And there's still all this conjecture that he might be on his way out. Again, we know one guy has already been put out, and that is Lucas Duda, who's had a big night tonight for Tampa Bay.
As we alluded to earlier, Cabrera might be hitting his way back onto the Mets when you consider they hold an option on him for next year. And he's going to be amenable to playing all over the infield. He might be a valuable piece just as a utility guy. Cespedes takes up an in for ball 1. Scoreboard update sponsored by our Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. The other West Coast games, Dodgers lead the Giants 6-4 top of the 9th. Corey Seager with 2 homers. His brother Kyle playing in this game for the Mariners has a 2-run single. Padres 3, Pirates 2, top 9 in San Diego. Cespedes 0 for 3. The 1-0 taken upstairs, ball 2. And Minnesota leading Oakland 6-3. That came in the top of the 8th inning in the Bay Area. Right here, Mets about hit the Mariners 7-6. The score tied 5-5. Remember, the Mets led 4-0 early tonight. Mariners went in front with 4 in the 5th inning. 2-0 pitch. Fastball popped up foul into the seats downstairs behind the first base dugout. So 2-1 to Cespedes with Jay Bruce waiting on deck. The next 2 games of this series will be afternoon games. 1:10 local time, which means 4:10 first pitches New York time. And Jacob deGrom will be on the mound for the Mets tomorrow against the veteran Giovanni Gallardo. deGrom's won 8 straight. He's 12-3. 2-1 pitch, check swing. He goes around it, a breaking ball in the dirt. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Yoenis Cespedes. So the Mets will have the 2 afternoon games here. And then back on a plane. And a lot of players will be sweating out the off day on Monday with the trade deadline on Monday before they begin a 3-game series against the Rockies in Denver Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Quick throw to first. Diving back in is Cabrera. Mets will not be back at Citi Field until a week from tonight. 10-game road trip, 11 days. Mets have 2 more 3-city road trips remaining this year. 2-2. Pitch to Cespedes. In there, strike 3 called. He got him with a cut fastball. Cespedes doesn't seem to like the call, but that's the first out here in the 8th inning of a 5-5 game. Cabrera at first and Jay Bruce coming up. Speaking of the schedule and road trips, the Mariners going to have their bags packed almost all of August. You know, they've only got 2 home series, 1 homestand all August. They've got a 4-game series here with the Angels, then 3 with the Orioles. The only 7 games they'll play at home all month. So here's Bruce as a 2-run homer. First pitch, line to right. That's going to fall in for a hit. Cabrera turns second. He'll slam on the brakes as Haniger plays the ball back in. And as Cabrera was getting to second, and as he rounded it, he took a couple of almost stutter steps and looked really uncomfortable. And that's what happens every time Cabrera's going to turn it on. But Bruce is on at first with his second hit of the game. And in this 5-5 game, the Mets now with runners at first and second, 1 out, and Wilmer Flores coming up.
Well, Cabrera, again, it's such a sensitive piece of timing now. You know, I mean, he's on the trade block, and if he starts walking around like he's 50 years old every time that he turns a base, that's not a good optic. He's out there trying to show he's fine. No worries here.
He's the go-ahead run. Runners first and second, 1 out. Wilmer Flores, the batter. First pitch on the way. Foul back to the screen. That was a cut fastball that stayed up and out over the plate. Flores fouled it back, and it's 0-1. And the thing you worry about with Wilmer is that even though he's got power, facing a right-hander here, he hits a lot of balls on the ground, and you just worry about, in this situation, a ground ball double play. He's already hit into 9 of them this year. Cabrera at second, Bruce at first. Not a whole lot of speed on base. And the 0-1. Foul back to the screen again. Another fastball. That one at 96 from Phelps. And the count 0-2. Of course, the Mariners used to have another Phelps who played here by the name of Ken Phelps, who was somewhat famously traded to the Yankees for Jay Buhner, a deal that, among others, a gentleman by the name of Frank Costanza did not especially care for.
Yeah, Steinbrenner had some splaining to do around the Festivus table, too.
0-2. Now the pitch to Flores. Check swing foul going back to the screen. Mets baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX. RE/MAX agents are trained to help you find the perfect fit wherever you go or wherever you're heading, locally or globally. Go to RE/MAX.com to find an agent for all the things that move you. Each office independently owned and operated. For a while, Jay Buhner pretty much rode side saddle in the power department here in Seattle with Ken Griffey Jr.
Boy, they love Jay Buhner here, though. Bone, they called him, short for Bonehead.
Well, you know, back in the Bronx, it was George Steinbrenner's baseball people who told him, Ken Phelps, Ken Phelps, Ken Phelps. So they made the deal. 0-2 to Flores. The pitch, Breaking ball just outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
In the Bronx one time, it's a true story. Jay Buhner once won a $300 bet from his teammates at Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium, by walking out of the stadium to the team bus without pants. That's the Jay Buhner sense of humor.
And it's also a bad look, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your point of view, I suppose, but it's frowned upon generally.
1-2. Runners lead second and first. The pitch and a ground ball right side of the infield. Cano quick flick to second one. Segura to first. Close. Safe the call. Flores just beats it out. Pending any video challenge. Going to third is Cabrera. The Mariners almost turn a 4-6-3. And Scott Service is looking back, but he's already indicated they're not going to challenge. And so the play stands. Runners at first and third, 2 out. And Neil Walker coming up. He'll turn around, bat left-handed now.
And, this is one of those situations. Walker, who on his rehab was 5 for 19, just enough hitting to make you think he's ready to go. Has struck out twice tonight, flied out once, but as they say in his game, all it takes is one at bat to have a great night. And this would be the perfectly timed AB for Walker.
Cabrera at third, Flores at first. Not a lot of speed there, but that's the go-ahead run 90 feet away in Cabrera. First pitch to Walker. Swinging a liner towards third. Base hit. Going into left field. The Mets take the lead. Cabrera scores, taking a wide turn around second, but holding there is Flores as Gamble plays it in. And Neil Walker, in his first game off the disabled list, has singled to left to give the Mets the lead. It is 6-5 New York.
Oh, what a difference a coast makes. Against Phelps back when it was all Phelps of the Marlins. Walker is 1 for 7 against him with 5 strikeouts. But he goes the other way with a pitch that was outside, very much outside actually, looking at the replay. And give Wilmer Flores a big piece of credit to Howie. He ran hard down the line, beat out that fielder's choice to keep this inning alive.
Here's Granderson 0 for 3. And the first pitch on the way, line towards first, off the glove of the first baseman Valencia. Fair ball going down the right field line. Flores scores. Going to third is Walker. He stops there. And on at first with a line drive, either single or error, will be Curtis Granderson. And the Mets have another run. They now lead 7-5.
Well, it was an interesting call that had to be made by the young umpire Shane Livensparger, because that ball ended up foul, no doubt about it. But it's all about where it hits the glove. And I'm looking at the replay. No question, Mr. Livensparger got it right. It just tipped off the very top of the glove of Valencia and just kind of took a little dog leg to the right. What an awful night for Valencia defensively, huh? Remember, he dropped those 2 pop-ups in foul ground earlier. Now he pushes one into foul ground with his glove that was in fair territory.
Well, ordinary effort is the phrase that scorers use to determine whether to charge a hit or an error. I didn't think there was anything terribly extraordinary that Valencia needed to do to make that play. Now, the ball was smoked, and because of that, they will give Granderson a hit, which means a run batted in. Remember, Curtis had been just 5 for his last 38. So 7-5 New York as Flores scored. Walker's at third, and here is Jose Reyes. First pitch by Phelps on the inside corner, a fastball, 0-1. So somewhere at Safeco Field, whether in the Mariners clubhouse, the dugout, or maybe the trainer's room, Nick Vincent is thinking to himself, I was just fine and dandy to go out there and pitch another inning after he dominated the Mets in the 7th. The 0-1 curveball inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And, we've talked about it, how it's not just this one particular night, this one particular manager.
It's all of them.
It's a creeping epidemic. Yep. I mean, you just don't leave well enough alone, essentially, is what it comes down to.
What it is baseball in 2017, and sometimes it's hard to make sense of. 1-1 the count. Throw to first, and Granderson dives back in. Certainly an easy second guess for the Mariners fans. Anybody calling into the Mariners post-game show, I suppose. But it speaks to a bigger issue. Not this game, not this decision, but how this logically makes sense. The 1-1, swing and a miss by Reyes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That would really take a total change in philosophy by one organization. And they say now, between the way pitchers are trained out of the bullpen, largely to throw 1 inning, agents get involved.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's big money involved, but, you know, it doesn't necessarily work to the benefit of any particular team or manager. Throw to first. Granderson dives back in.
Well, imagine in basketball, you bring a guy off the bench, he hits 3 jumpers in a row, and you figure that's enough, that's fine. You know, I don't want to get him tired. Let's bring in another guy and see if he's equally as hot.
In fairness to Vincent, or to Scott Service, he threw 21. The 1-2 to Reyes taken high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, you know, between the fact that Conforto, the lefty, was leading off, and we're just, you know, trying to follow along with Scott Service to make some sense of, again, what we're zeroing in on him as far as a decision, but they all do. He's going to tell you, look, the guy threw 21 pitches. I got a lefty coming up to lead off the inning. I got a good lefty in the pen. 2-2 to Reyes, bounced foul over by the first base dugout. Do a quick ID here on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Howie Rose, Josh Lewin with you in Seattle. 3 runs in for the Mets here in the 8th inning. They've taken a 7-5 lead. Walker at third, Granderson at first, 2 out in the 8th. Phelps 2-2 to Reyes. Swinging a fly ball to left, fairly deep but playable. Gamble back, makes the one-hand catch, side retired. But in the 8th, the Mets sent 8 men to the plate. And they regained the lead, scoring 3 runs on 5 hits. No errors, and 2 men left. And in the middle of the 8th inning, it's the Mets 7, the Mariners 5 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Celebrate summer weekends with Mets baseball and your favorite Canada Dry in 7-Up sodas. Enjoy the real ginger, real taste of Canada Dry or Canada Dry seltzers. Or mix it up a little with a crisp
Nissan. Check out the thousands of dealer rater reviews from happy customers and see. We go to the last of the 8th inning. The Mets lead the Mariners 7-5, and in the same context as our discussion about Scott Service taking Nick Vincent out of the game after working 1 perfect inning. Well, Jerry Blevins will leave now after facing just 4 batters, needing 23 pitches to retire them all. A couple of right-handers will start the 8th, and that's largely why Terry Collins goes to Paul Sewald to face Danny Valencia. First pitch taken low, ball 1. So Sewald becomes the 5th pitcher that the Mets have used in this game. Blevins now the pitcher of record on the long side. Sewald in his 35th game, 0-3. The 1-0 taken low, ball 2. And a 4.17 earned run average. Remember now, Blevins hadn't pitched in literally a week. The last time he worked was a week ago. But day game tomorrow, and obviously Terry Collins wants to keep him available for then. The 2-0 taken down the middle, 2 balls and 1 strike.
That could have been part of the thinking for Scott Service, too, getting Vincent out. But remember, they had an off day yesterday. Vincent didn't pitch the day before. Arrested guy.
Valencia, right-hand hitter. Sewald's 2-1 is looped in the air over second. Going to fall in for a base hit. And Danny Valencia now 1 for 4. Turns first and holds on with a leadoff single. That'll bring the tying man to the plate in Mitch Haniger. So after the Mets delivered 3 runs in the rally moment of the game in the top of this 8th inning, getting behind the wheel of a BMW is easier than you think. Come experience the rally BMW difference today. Now the Mariners can bring the tying run to the plate. Haniger 1 for 3. He had been 0 for 19 before he doubled and eventually scored in the 5th inning. So Cabrera, the third baseman, even with a bag and off the line. The outfield straightaway. First pitch taken for a called strike. Slider from Sewald, 0-1. Gerard Dyson waiting on deck. That's about hit the Mariners 10-7. The 0-1, breaking ball low, 1 ball and 1 strike. This is a game in an American League park, so Curtis Granderson utilized as the designated hitter. Nelson Cruz DHs for the Mariners, but means no double switches, a lot less strategy employed, at least with a lineup card. The 1-1, take it inside, a changeup, 2 balls and 1 strike. Not a whole lot of talk anymore about either the National League adopting the designated hitter or the American League giving it up. 2-1 pitch, curve foul back to the screen, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Although it's interesting to consider that the way the game is played and managed today, certainly in the National League, with liberal use of the bullpen, many teams now using an 8-man bullpen, which leaves you only 4 on the bench when you have to hit for the pitcher occasionally. Maybe the time has actually come to think about the designated hitter in the National League. 2-2 pitch, take it in tight, a full count. But now we'll see whether or not the runner will be in motion here, with the Mariners down 2 and a 3-2 count on Mitch Haniger. Danny Valencia, the runner at first. So 3-2. Sewald delivers. Inside, he might have hit him, and I think he did. It's a hit batsman. And so going down to second is Valencia. Haniger on a 3-2 pitch, hit in the hand or up the arm a little bit. Looking at a replay now. Yeah, got him right around the left wrist, it appeared. So, tying runs are aboard. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And Gerard Dyson coming up. You know, the Mets have scored 7 runs in this game, so you get 50% off the regular menu price of all pizzas tomorrow at papajohns.com with promo code METS6. That's papajohns.com, promo code METS6. So we'll see how the Mariners play it here. Dyson, a very, very fast man. And there certainly would be the possibility that he'd be looking to drop down a bunt, get both men into scoring position. Rene Rivera, the Mets catcher, out in front of home plate, relaying signs to the infield.
Dyson's the kind of guy that can have a little take-it-with-you bunt, too, a drag bunt, making Flores go to work at first base.
Zunino, number 9 hitter, is on deck, and he's been aboard all 3 times. First pitch, bunt out towards the mound. Up with it is Sewald. His play is to first. In time to get Dyson. Flores covered. So it's a sacrifice, 1-3, and both runners move up, meaning Valencia is at third, and Haniger, the tying run at second with 1 out. And Mike Zunino coming up. He is homered, walked and scored, and singled.
Well, a little surprised that Dyson bunted it as a give-up there. He literally just tried to push it right back towards the pitcher. We talked about that speed of his. Either make Cabrera rush in at third or Flores from first, but he didn't do that. He split the difference.
I'd imagine that came from the dugout. They wanted the sacrifice, and they got it. So now here's Zunino. Takes the first pitch fastball for a called strike, 0-1. So it's the runner on second, Mitch Haniger, the tying man, with Valencia leading down the line at third. Sewald comes set. Here's the 0-1. Fastball popped up foul outside first. It'll reach the seats, but Sewald ahead now. No balls and 2 strikes. You've got hot hitters following Zunino with Segura on deck. Although, in fairness, Segura, even though he has a hit in this game, has not been hot recently. It's only 5 for his last 33. But then you've got Gamble, who's on a 13-game hitting streak. 0-2, the pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball foul down the third base line in behind the runner Valencia. Mets have one more left-hander available on the bullpen. That's Josh Smoker when it gets down to Gamble, if it does here in this 8th inning. But, you know, there's also Addison Reed and the possibility of a 4-out save. 0-2. Sewald delivers. Just missed outside with a fastball. Looked like a little cutter. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Zunino. His home run tonight, 16th of the year. Second most among American League catchers. So 1-2 the count. Runners lead second and third. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. The ball dropped by Rivera. But walking back to the dugout is Zunino. Well, he could have made Rivera throw because first base is open.
Right, he just conceded the point, and I don't get that at all.
That's such bad baseball. So 2 men away.
But what if Rivera throws it away? It could be a tie game.
Absolutely. That's the idea. The chances are infinitesimal it would happen, but never know unless you try. So 2 out now, and here's Segura. As we mentioned, just 5 for his last 33. First pitch. In tied on him. He turns away. It's ball 1. Not going to try to sell having been hit by a pitch there either.
Already got busted on it once.
7-5 New York. Valencia at third. Haniger at second. 2 out in the 8th. Seawald sets the 1-0. Breaking ball over for a called strike. A slider. It's 1-1 to Gene Segura. Gamble the lefty on deck. Smoker the lefty up in the Mets bullpen. Behind Gamble another lefty, Robinson Cano. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball low, ball 2. So 2-1 to Segura.
Well, this is interesting, Howie. I mean, the slider's a very smart pitch. Segura, a guy that can turn on fastballs. He's a pretty scrappy hitter. He'll foul a lot of them away, too, before he gets one that he likes. You go slider, slider, slider all at bat.
2-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Fastball over a called strike, and it's 2-2. Seawald does not take a lot of time between pitches waiting on the rubber as Segura settles back into the batter's box. Runners lead second and third, 2 out. Seawald sets. 2-2 pitch. Swinging a bouncing ball towards first. Foul ball right along the line. Fielded by Flores. Seawald was already at the first base bag. But a foul ball. Segura never bought into a close play as he didn't break out of the batter's box. And the count 2-2. And now Rene Rivera will deliver a fresh baseball to Seawald and make sure they're together on what they're going to do with this next pitch or two to Gene Segura. 7-5 New York. They once led 4-0, then they trailed 5-4. So Seawald allowed the first 2 to reach. Single and a hit batsman. He got in the next 2, won a sacrifice bunt. Now he's 2-2 to Segura. Seawald staring in. Delivers. Breaking ball chopped up the middle to his left. Reyes has it, sets, throws, out at first, side retired. Seawald gets it done, and the Mariners come up empty in the 8th. No runs a hit, 2 left, and at the end of 8 innings, it's the Mets 7, the Mariners 5 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
$29.99. Then, enjoy enough speed for all your devices with 100 megabit Spectrum Internet with no data caps and a free modem. Just $29.99 a month. And get unlimited nationwide.
Around the world, Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
The online home of the Mets Radio Network. 710WOR.com/Mets.
Right-hander Casey Lawrence will come on to pitch for the Mariners as we go to the top of the 9th inning with the Mets out in front 7-5 as Paul Seawald allowed the first 2 runners to reach in the bottom of the 8th but got out of it. And so now it's Lawrence, who is fresh up from the minor leagues, coming on to face Rene Rivera. Michael Conforto, who's had quite the night in his hometown, and as Drupal Cabrera. So here is Rivera, who is 0 for 3. Lawrence, the 5th pitcher used by the Mariners, and the first pitch on the way is taken for a called strike, a fastball, 0-1. David Phelps came on in the 8th inning after Zepchinski gave up the leadoff homer to Conforto. So Phelps worked 1 inning. Here's the 0-1. Fastball low outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And he gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. So Phelps is the guy on the hook with Blevins, pitcher of record, on the long side. 1-1 to Rivera. Breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's been quite a night for Michael Conforto as he waits on deck. 1-2. Lawrence delivers. Breaking ball waved at him, missed, strike 3. Pitch down and away in a wild swing by Rene Rivera. And so he is struck out for the 3rd time in this game. 1 away. And it's going to bring up Mr. Conforto. Struck out his first time up, lined a homer into the right field seats to the right of the 380 mark. Then he fouled out to third and hit another line drive home run that just made it out about 8 feet to the left of the foul pole down the right field line. First pitch is taken for a called strike. 0-1, a fastball. With the Mets off Monday, I was wondering whether or not Conforto might take the off day here at home and enjoy himself with friends and family. 0-1 on the way, rolled to the right side of the infield. The shortstop Segura with a shift on fields it, throws to first in time, 2 men away. Michael said no. One thing he was a little concerned about coming into this weekend was the distraction of having all of his buddies and his family around, and mentioned he's going to have a big dinner with them tomorrow night. But he said he would rather just leave here with the team and go to Denver on Monday and kind of decompress there rather than force in an extra day's activity and risk that affecting him in Denver. So that's a pretty mature move, I think, on the part of Conforto. 2 out, nobody on, and here's Cabrera, who is 3 for 4. First pitch on the way, a liner towards third, off the glove of Seager, tried to backhand it, but he recovers, throws to first to get the barely jogging Cabrera, and that retires the side. As Dribble thought that Seager had held on to that ball, he did not. But the Mets are done in the 9th. They go in order. Middle of the 9th inning. It's the Mets 7 and the Mariners 5 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
What do you do when good isn't good enough? You upgrade. Or when you're ready to go from great to awesome. Upgrade. If your energy drink isn't getting
the trailering section of the owner's manual, the weight of passengers, cargo, and options or accessories may reduce the amount you can tow.
When it comes to finding a retirement plan for you.
We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mets 7, the Mariners 5. Addison Reed is still a Met, so he's going to pitch the bottom of the 9th inning. He's here. He might as well. He's the closer. Presented by AmTrust Title, led by industry veteran Steve Napolitano. AmTrust Title puts commercial real estate on solid ground. That's AmTrust Title. They get your deals closed. Scoreboard has asked the fans to make some noise, and they have complied. As far as Reed is concerned, the hitters made a little noise against him in each of his last 2 outings in San Diego. That was Monday and Tuesday. Gave up runs in each, but picked up saves, and now it's Ben Gamel on, a left-hand batter to lead off. First pitch, fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. Reed 1-2. He's got 18 saves, a 2.63 earned run average. He'll quick pitch with nobody on. 0-1. Bouncing ball right side. Walker to his left. Dives. Smothers. But then loses the ball on the transfer. And Gamel is safe. Walker covered the ground beautifully, moving to his left. Dove onto the outfield grass. But when he got up and tried to get the ball out of the glove, he couldn't find the handle. The ball dribbled away. And the Mariners put the leadoff man on. A base hit for Gamel extends his hitting streak to 14 straight games. And now you're getting into some tough hitters as the tying run will come to the plate in Robinson Cano. Behind him, it's Nelson Cruz and Kyle Seager.
Well, back-to-back All-Stars, so this is going to be a well-earned save if Reed is going to get it.
Cano is flying to left, grounded to first, driven in a run with a sacrifice fly and grounded to short. The infield swings to the right. They're not overshifted. Left-hand batter, Reed deals. Fastball is low, ball 1. The Hebrew home at Riverdale by River Spring Health offers amazing individualized care, and they've been providing it for 100 years. Call 1-800-567-3646. The 1-0. Cano pops it foul. That'll go into the seats downstairs behind third. And the count 1-1. Cano with 19 home runs on the year. And he's a guy who has shown that his power will transcend simply that short right field porch at Yankee Stadium. He had 39 home runs last year. And that's the most he ever hit in a year. The 1-1. Swinging a liner down the left field line, slicing foul and out of play. And the count 1-2 strikes. Add up the totals. Robinson Cano is 3 home runs away from 300 lifetime. His best year with the Yankees, he hit 33. And again, the 39 last year is career high. 1-2. Reed holds the set, and time called at home plate. And Reed will do that. He will vary the tempo on his delivery. With a runner on base as there is here, you can't quick pitch. But he'll work a lot more quickly on one delivery than he will on another, and that gets into the hitter's head. Now he's ready. The 1-2 to Cano. Low with a fastball, ball 2.
And as scary as this tandem is, Howie, of Cano and Cruz, it's Seager, the guy after that might worry Reed the most. He's homered 2 of the last 3 times he has faced Addison Reed.
Reed's been in the American League as well with the Chicago White Sox. 2-2 the count. Reed to the belt. Here's the pitch. Swing on a liner foul. That'll reach the second deck behind third. And Cano, when he's focused, he will give you a pretty tough at bat. He's hitting .272 coming in on the year. The thing he hasn't done, though, is walk a whole lot, and he can. It's just that, he's got a rather mercurial personality as a hitter, as well as a fielder and a runner. Only walked a total of 35 times. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ground ball to second. Should be 2. Walker backhand flip to second. 1. Reyes to first. Double play. 4-6-3. Just what Reed needed. And just like that, 2 out, nobody on, with the Mets leading 7-5 here in the 9th inning.
That is 16 double plays hit into by Robinson Cano. 4 since the All-Star break, when, of course, he sparkled. And now it's possible Reed doesn't have to face Seager at all. They can just take care of Nelson Cruz.
Cruz has walked twice, he has struck out, and he's flied to center. The Mets 7, the Mariners 5. 2 out, nobody on, last of the 9th. First pitch to Cruz. Slider fouled off to the right and out of play. Into the second deck behind first. It's 0-1. And this is where Reed can really vary the tempo, because you can quick pitch. Well, you're not really supposed to, but it never gets called. Here he quick pitches 0-1, and the pitch taken low outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cruz did not appear ready to swing the bat there, but Reed missed with the pitch down and away. So 1-1 the count. Outfield deep and around towards right. Now Reed holds the set. The 1-1. Low pops out of the glove of Rivera for ball 2. And again, the guy on deck, Kyle Seager, a left-hand hitter, does have power. Seven to 5 Mets. 2 out, nobody on in the 9th. 2-1 pitch. Line towards third, foul beyond Maniacta, the third base coach, and now Reed a strike away with a count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Cruz taking a little extra time outside the batter's box after the foul ball, now settles in. Reed just waiting for him on the first base side of the rubber. Comes set. Here's the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, a breaking ball, full count. I'd love to just get Cruz here and get into the clubhouse. Kyle Seager, a left-hand batter, is a threat. 3-2 the count. Reed sets. Here's the payoff pitch on the way to Cruz. Swing and a drive, well hit to left. Going back, Cespedes. He'll have a play. He's under it. He makes the catch. Put it in the books. The New York Mets, who let a 4-0 lead get away, wind up coming from behind to take the opener of this 3-game series here in Seattle. In the 9th inning for the Mariners, no runs a hit, nobody left. The final score, the New York Mets 7 and the Seattle Mariners 5. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri. Well, the Mets have defeated the Mariners 7-5. Big play in the bottom of the 9th inning. Addison Reed getting Robinson Cano to ground into a double play. Happy Recap is presented with pride. Story of the night is going to be Michael Conforto, who comes home to Seattle and hits 2 home runs. The one that he hit in the 8th inning off of the lefty Mark Zepchinski tied the game. But don't forget, Nick Vincent had worked a 1-2-3 7th inning out of the bullpen for Seattle. And once Scott Service, the manager of the Mariners, went to his bullpen in the 8th inning. The Mets really took advantage because not only did Conforto bring home the tying run against Zepchinski with a homer, then David Phelps came in, and he made it worse. He gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. Jerry Blevins, who had not worked in a week, winds up getting the win for the Mets to go to 5-0. But again, the story is Michael Conforto, and he's standing by to talk about it with Wayne Randazzo. All right, thank you very much, Wayne. So the Mets win it 7-5 on a night. The Mets also made a deal, Josh.
Yeah, that was part and parcel to the night as A.J. Ramos comes this way, and the Mets win tonight by the same score by which they lost just a night ago in a different West Coast town. 7-5 the final tonight in the Mets' favor. 7-10-0 for the winners, 5-8-2 for the losers tonight. Winning pitcher, you mentioned it, Jerry Blevins, and Phelps, the loser, now has lost 3 of his 5 games this year against the Mets on 2 different coasts, wearing 2 different uniforms. The time of the game, 3:21, 34,543 paid to watch it happen tonight. What Did We Learn is presented by Hofstra University. Take the first steps to becoming a world changer at hofstra.edu/lessons. We learned there is no place like home. Isn't that right, Michael Conforto? Conforto and his little dog, too, a return to, well, of all places, the Emerald City. And here in his native Seattle, 2 line drive solo home runs in front of a lot of friends and family. We learned Rafael Montero took a bit of a step back, a rocky 5th inning, his undoing. 5 walks tonight overall. The bullpen did the rest, though, something Seattle couldn't say. Chile and Cincinnati. And we learned that the trade winds are blowing on the West Coast. If the headline writers want to have some fun tomorrow morning, you'll pick up the paper and read Mets trade Cespedes, and then spit out your cornflakes, and then realize it's Ricardo Cespedes and another minor leaguer going to Miami for A.J. Ramos. That's the big news here tonight. The Mets do win it again, the happy final in Seattle. Mets 7, Mariners 5.
New York Mets Baseball is a production of 710 WOR in conjunction with the New York Mets. The executive producer is Joe Kersey. Studio operations by Noah Fleischman and Mark Wiener, and our producer-engineer in the booth is the immortal Chris Matchkowski. Our next broadcast tomorrow afternoon. Series continues here in Seattle with the Mariners. First pitch set for 4:10 Eastern Time. Wayne Randazzo has the pregame at 3:30. Fans listening on our flagship 710 WOR in New York will wake up with Len Berman and Todd Schnitt in the morning from 6 to 10 Monday through Friday with your chance to win Mets tickets at 7:30 at 8:30. And so for Josh Liu and I'm Howie Rose. Thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score, the New York Mets 7 and the Seattle Mariners 5. Stay tuned. Wayne has the postgame show coming up next on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
New York Mets baseball has been brought to you by Hyundai.
75 Switch. Ready for a new deck?